Beethoven?
My
Movies from the 90s?
My next one, also from a book, Cujo.
Oh.
That's a big dog, a big scary dog.
We should come up with the top 5 scariest big dogs.
Oh, yeah. Cujo has to be on the list. Another another suggestion from the text line, Marmaduke.
Marmaduke, I never even saw those comics. Everybody's like the Marmaduke comic strip. I read the Washington Post comics daily as a kid. I was very into them. I don't remember seeing Marmaduke. So maybe that was like a regional thing where maybe Marmaduke had a big footprint up here, or paw print, but not down where I grew up. So that may be oversight by me, but I don't recall Marmaduke.
And then the last one I have to mention, a cartoon dog who fought and solved crime, McGruff the crime dog.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Scooby-Doo.
Me too.
Oh, duh. Scooby-Doo's another great one. Holy smokes. Absolutely. I forgot about Scooby-Doo.
Do you remember the McGruff song?
No.
It went Scruff, McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652. It's the kind of things that when you have a very pliable young mind get stuck there and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do a live TV segment where I forget Will Campbell's name, but I can still recite the Scruff McGruff area code for Chicago.
Well, that'll do it for the Big Dog Show. Your top 5 big dogs, according to Mego. Thank you so much, Mego. Excellent work by you today on this marathon show of the Big Dog Show. Keep it locked right here, though. We got some best of WEEI heading into Red Sox pregame as they gear up for Game 2 in their series with the Yankees. Mego, I will see you Monday morning on the Greg Hill Show. Enjoy the rest of your weekend in Maine. Thank you so much for hanging out with the Big Dog Show on this marathon program today, and we'll see you again next time with louder barks and bigger barks.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
I wake up.
Since 1961, New Englanders have trusted one name to protect their homes and businesses: Warwick Tree Service. We blend 6 decades of experience with cutting-edge technology to handle even the most hazardous or hard-to-reach trees with surgical precision and minimal disruption. Our licensed arborists don't just remove trees, we provide the expert care and peace of mind that only comes from years in the field. Don't wait for the next storm. Visit warwicktree.com to schedule your free tree service assessment today. Warwick Tree Service. Safe, efficient, proven since 1961.
Summer's a gift. The gift of days that last a little longer. A brighter state of mind. So gift yourself a new Kia at the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. With specially tagged vehicles including the Sorrento, Sportage, Carnival, as well as the Niro Hybrid. All backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So the gift of summer can keep on giving for summers to come. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Event ends 7/6/26. See dealer for warranty details.
Day or night, VerboCare is here 24/7 to help make every part of your stay seamless. If anything comes up, or you simply need a little guidance, support is ready whenever you reach out. From the moment you book to the moment you head home, we're here to help things run smoothly. Because a great trip starts with the right support. And hey, a good playlist doesn't hurt either.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Catches Law Injury Attorney Studios. Every game, all season, no subscription needed. The Sox play here. 93.7 WEEI-FM and HD1, Lawrence, Boston, and Odyssey Sports Station. Now, here's what's in our feed.
1-0. Here's the pitch, and it is grounded on the first base side. Contreras has it. He goes to the bag. He steps on first, and the ball game is over. Even though Chapman looks really hobbled out there, he gets the job done. The Yankees strand 2. The Red Sox come into the Bronx, and they take Game 1 5-3. Home.
With that, the Red Sox move to a record of 43-42 versus the New York Yankees since 2021. That record on the line again tonight in the Bronx. Ronder Suarez goes versus Will Warren. Coverage begins in just under a half hour now. Joe Weil getting ready for the Mass Mutual pregame show. Will Fleming and Will Middlebrooks standing by in New York City. They'll have the call of the first pitch at 7:35 right here on 93.7 and the Shaw's Star Market, WEEI Red Sox Network. Shaw's and Star Market, proud to be local since 1860. I'm Tristan Andrew. That's what's in the feed. Stay with us.
You are listening to the best of WEEI. WEEI, Boston Sports Original.
Jones and Keith, WEEI. Short show today. Red Sox right back at it with the Orioles, and luckily Brian Bayo, who can't start, is starting today.
Oh, no.
You can catch it here. First pitch on WEEI is at 12:35. Hear the call of the game on 93.7 and the Odyssey app across the Shaw's and Star Market. WEEI Red Sox Radio Network. Shaw's and Star Market, proud to be local since 1860. Mass Mutual Red Sox pregame show starts at 12:35. And it'll be me and Keith hanging out with Joe Weil.
Wow thing.
The Wow
The
thing.
wow thing.
Talking about the Red
wow
Sox.
side.
So I misspoke. First pitch is at 1:35 pregame.
Come on.
At 12:35.
got
We'll
it.
get
We
to
got
that coming up. And joining us now on Jones and Keefe, as he does every Thursday at 11:30, Rob Bradford, WEEI. He's brought to you by McFarland Energy, the heating, cooling, and bioheat delivery pros that Eastern Mass and all of Cape Cod depend on. McFarlandEnergy.com. Bradford, what's up?
Oh, McFarland. And I'm standing on the Fenway Park field, and I tell you, I'm having the urge to do tarps off right now.
Oh, well, Bradford, let me just tell you, you're on the field. You're part of the problem. Connor Fleffa thinks there's too many of you guys in the clubhouse and on the field. I think that you're why they stink at home.
Yeah, we blame you.
Well, I took full responsibility before the game last night, and I think that allowed them to score all those runs. Finally, we identified the problem. It was me. So I will take full responsibility going forward that my presence, I'm omnipresent. So, and that's the issue. And of course, it evidently didn't bother Dustin Pedroia and David Ortiz, but it's an issue here.
Well, it bothered Nomar with his red line. So, it's not the first time we've heard it, but it was odd. So, look, Greg Hill thought it was analysts. Breslow shot that down today. Breslow, Tracy, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa are now saying, well, it's a lot of people at home compared to on the road, whether that's media or whatever. I know that's the party line now, and I know Greg's report. What do you think he was actually talking about when he initially made those comments the other night?
I think and this isn't a very sexy answer, but I think it was everything. I think it was just the fact that you get here, you're on the road, you have very, very little going on. You have a very insulated sort of group. As I think Breslow points out, you're on the bus and then you're off and you're together, and it is what it is. And then you get here, and there's a lot, but which is okay. I get that, and you can lump it all together. There are definitely more than say 10 years ago. More people around, whether it's private hitting coaches or whether it's family and friends, and I'm not gonna say media because I don't think the media is. I think the media is actually probably smaller than it used to be. Be honest with you, but I think it's everything. The problem is that, as you know, like we've gone through this numerous years, and this isn't the reason why you aren't winning at home. To me, the reason why you aren't winning at home is because normally you can't hit at home, and you don't have the hitters who are maybe tailored for this ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be the personnel. Would in that same area, would you look at leadership? I mean, last year, I would assume there was the same number of people, hitting instructors, fans, whatever, hangers on. I think it would be the same. And they were basically the same road team last season, the playoff team, as they are this season. Actually, this season might even be trending slightly above what last year's road record was. But last year, they're 15 games over 500 at home. This year, they are obviously 10 games under. Is leadership part of the problem?
No, man. Like, I think it's personnel.
Okay.
I do. Like, I don't. If you want to talk about leadership, about the dynamic, clubhouse dynamic overall, I think that, yeah, that's a different conversation. Sure. And we know the impact that Bregman had on everything. We know that, if you go into a lot of these clubhouses, there's a lot more 30-somethings. Look at the Phillies. The Phillies fired their manager, and they have a bunch of 30-somethings that look in the mirror, say, hey, you know what? It's not going to be chaotic. We're just going to get better. But I think.
But Bradford, like to start the season, they basically had 7/9 of the starting lineup from a year ago. It was basically just like Bregman was out, and Bregman and whoever was playing first base out, Contreras and Durbin in.
Right. Well, I mean, right again. So I'm not saying that like leadership is a problem. Like that's. I'm just saying that, like, if you want to look at that dynamic, and Bregman, you can say, well, you don't have Bregman, but Bregman was a big part of this. Now, he isn't performing right now, and I don't know if I would, that contract something. But, we already know, we've already defined, if for no other reason, when Roman Anthony was healthy, the impact he had on Roman Anthony. But the leadership thing is when you have to have guys who understand what it takes to get through 162 and not panic through this sort of stuff and be able. And I think that's kind of what, honestly, I think that's kind of what like Isaiah kind of Falefa was doing a little bit. He was trying to take some of the heat off of it. Now it only opened the door to all this other stuff, but I think that he was trying to do that. But in a perfect world, you have a whole lot more than Isaiah kind of Falefa and Wilson Contreras as the guy who is going to get Rudy on the stool speech in the middle. The best Red Sox teams that I've seen are the teams that have 5 or 6 guys who are in different corners of the locker room who understand what it takes. And right now, that just because of the demographic of their roster, that just isn't the case.
Okay, I want to pick up with that. Demographic of the roster. He's Rob Bradford, WEEI, and the Baseball Isn't Boring podcast, brought to you by Jackson Lumber and Millwork here on Jones and Keefe. You can visit Jackson Lumber and Millwork for all your residential remodeling or commercial building materials and supplies at Jackson Lumber and Millwork, providing solutions and delivering results since 1946. You mentioned the demographics of the roster. You mentioned the Phillies are a bunch of 30-somethings. Red Sox are a bunch of 20-somethings. Do the 20-somethings have their heads screwed on right? Are they approaching the game the right way?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part they are. But, you go through a 162-game season, there are going to be times where you think you have it all figured out and you realize you don't. And the other part of this dynamic that we can't, push to the side is, I think that when you can like the crew that was here before, Cora and the 5 coaches or not, but they had sort of gone through this. They had understood what it took. And a lot of times when the rubber met the road and there was a problem, at least you had that option to sort of lean on. I think that a lot of guys are trying to figure it out. Obviously, Chad Tracy, I think, is doing a really, really good job. But this is his first go-around. And guys aren't probably going to go to hey, Chad, how does this work? Because you've gone through it. Because he hasn't gone through it. So I do think that to answer your question about the younger guys, I think that for the most part they do, but there's definitely going to be times where they think they have figured out, because I've seen that before with teams. You think you have it figured out, and then other guys in that clubhouse say, well, actually, this is how it is. I mean, and look at Rob Refsnyder was another guy that you took out of that locker room who was a big part of that equation too.
Do you like going to Brian Bayo as the starter today, or should they have just left him doing what he was doing? Because when he enters the game in the second inning, he's like a completely different pitcher this year.
Chad Tracy just talked about this, and I kind of agree with him. At this point, you just got to do it, man. Like, you can't keep doing this, like trying to zig and zag and figure this, like, all of this out. And it's like you have to say, hey, you know what? You're gonna be a starter. Can you be a starter or not? And it might be disastrous, and we might continue this conversation of like what is happening as a starter. But I think ultimately, for the rest of the year, I don't think it's a good idea to keep saying, here, Brian Bayo, be a bulk guy, especially when it isn't working either, because you can't find the right guy to lead into it. So yeah, I mean, you just got to like throw it out there, and now we're gonna get a chance to see if it works.
Do you have any theory as to what the hell happened? Because he was a pretty effective starter last year, his best year, 3.35 ERA. And then this year, this seems like the thing that every starter would not want to do, and they would reject it. And yet he's been so good in the 4 times we've seen him enter a game late and so bad in the 7 starts. Do you have any theory as to what's going on with him?
Nah, I can't but help it. I know that they'll say, well, teams are stacking lefties against him, and he's terrible against lefties. But I think that all the things that you just said, Rich, that leads to the mental side of it. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it before with guys. I mean, going way back, I think it was Beckett and maybe Porcello too, where they were really, really bad in the first inning, and they did a million different things before to try to change it up. And I think it's just ultimately it's a mental thing. So I guess the good news is if you get through that first inning, you're on your way. But it's not. Hey, listen, dude, like it's not ideal, man. Like it's not. They're very fortunate that the biggest piece of this puzzle that is actually working, the starting pitching, is what it is. Because otherwise, you'd be relying on the guy who was the open day starter 2 years ago.
Bradfo, I'm curious your thoughts on how things have played out here with the Red Sox and not just their struggles at home, but Craig Breslow in the Globe needing an interpreter. He was asked about that this morning.
Your guy's best friend Peyton Toley's walking by me right now.
Oh, shut him out.
Oh, good game, Peyton. Nice job, Peyton.
Good game. You give the thumbs up.
Oh, great stuff, Peyton. Love you, Peyton.
guys.
Nice, great. Big fan. Most of Boston, most of the New England area. Really does. No, but Breslow was asked about needing an interpreter today in an all-time question from Greg Hill. Where do you think that comes from?
The question about the food in the tea?
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Yes. No. Where does Breslow needing an interpreter? Apparently, it came from multiple sources of the Globe. Where does that come from? The man speaks English.
Well, the weird thing is, I think that if you listen to Breslow's answer to that question, I mean, I'm not talking about the food and the teeth answer, but right before it, it was probably the most direct answer that he gave. He
took a little shot at players not on the team, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, whether it's players or whoever, but he said, not in the organization, outside the organization or the outside the players on the team. So if you ask, trying to figure out where he thinks it came from, I think that was a pretty good tell right there.
Yeah. You are listening to the best of WEEI. WEEI, Boston Sports Original.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
I wake up.
Since 1961, New Englanders have trusted one name to protect their homes and businesses: Warwick Tree Service. We blend 6 decades of experience with cutting-edge technology to handle even the most hazardous or hard-to-reach trees with surgical precision and minimal disruption. Our licensed arborists don't just remove trees, we provide the expert care and peace of mind that only comes from years in the field. Don't wait for the next storm. Visit warwicktree.com to schedule your free tree service assessment today. Warwick Tree Service. Safe, efficient, proven since 1961.
Summer's a gift. The gift of days that last a little longer. A brighter state of mind. So gift yourself a new Kia at the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. With specially tagged vehicles including the Sorrento, Sportage, Carnival, as well as the Niro Hybrid. All backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So the gift of summer can keep on giving for summers to come. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Event ends 7/6/26. See dealer for warranty details.
The all-new Amazon Ember Art line with Fire TV. With Alexa Plus, 10 custom frames and over 2,000 free works of museum-quality art. The Amazon Ember Art line with Fire TV. It's not just a smart TV, it's an art TV. Separate subscriptions may be required. A viewing experience is subjective and may vary with content.
We are back to the best of WEEI, Boston Sports Original.
Quality candidates with Indeed-sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
It's Rich and Ken with Ted Johnson on WEEI.
It is 93.7 WEEI. Rich Schertenlieb, Ken Laird with 3-time Super Bowl champion Ted Johnson. And we are down at Fenway right now. Beautiful day. Beautiful. A little warm. Shouldn't have worn the long sleeve black shirt. A little smelly over here. I apologize to our guest here in studio. But that's what comes with the territory when you have a man with Swiss blood like me. We are in the Ford Clubhouse at Fenway Studio, brought to you by New England Ford Dealers. Employee pricing for all. You pay for what we pay. Ford, the official vehicle of Major League Baseball, and that dirty water. And with us right now, Sox manager Chad Tracy, and he is brought to you by Shaw's and Star Market, the official supermarket of the Red Sox radio network, by Arbella, here for baseball fans, here for good, and by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when your drains don't flow. Thanks for coming back and hanging out with us today, Mr. Tracy.
Thanks for having me.
So we were kind of speculating, because I know originally our interview was set up for 2:15, and there was we kept getting texts saying that you were going to be a little bit later. Anything going on that we should know about?
No, there was just a few different handful of conversations that popped up that I had to handle before I came down.
Okay, none of those were like team meeting-esque or anything?
No.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
All right. There was an interesting comment yesterday. Obviously, the team, it's at home, it's just, you seem to be snake-bitten. It's a very strange thing. I know that right now, I believe 9 wins at home, which I think is the worst in the league. But I did find a comment yesterday from Izzy after the game. It raised some eyebrows because it might have given us an interesting look as to what he believes might be going on and why the team isn't doing well at home. He said, I feel like on the road we're a very close-knit team. We come home and there's just a lot of people. A lot of people, it's different. It's just a different vibe at home, and we've got to figure out a way to make it small like how it is on the road. Just feel like at home we see a lot of people that we don't know or that are around this area. It's just a close-knit group, and we were becoming a really close team, and we got to find a way to bring that back home. What do you feel about his comments? What do you think he means by all of that?
I just think there's a lot more people at Fenway. It's the nature of, first of all, it's a big market. There's a lot of people. You go out for batting practice. There's fans on the field. There's tons of media. That's part of it here. I do think, and I don't want to speak for him, it's not wrong. Like when you go on the road, you're all together. There's nowhere to go. Like you're not necessarily rushing out to get to your family because it's just us. You're getting on the bus together to and from the ballpark. And there's a very small contingent of media that's there. They're in there for 45 minutes, and it really is a little bit. But when you come here, it's different. I do, like, as I watched him answer that, like, there was a long pause before he answered when you watch it, and I had the similar pause when they asked, like, sometimes you're searching for that answer. We all are, right? And we know that we're, a good streak at home away from turning this around. But sometimes it's that feeling of like you're searching for the answer and you're playing out what could it be, right? So we're always looking at like how can we do that. But I think broadly he means it feels smaller on the road because it is. It is. When you go to Kansas City or Detroit or whatever, it's not Fenway Park and there's just less going on. But at the same time, like we got to find a way to make it small and deal with that ourselves because it's not going to change.
How do you make it small? That's like how do you address that? Because obviously he feels that this is probably something that, or at least hopes it sound like, that he wants to have this be a little more controlled with less people. How do you do that?
You can't control, I got to ask too, but I don't think you control how much media there or wherever. But you broadly, you want to know the answer? You win some games. You win some games here, and it becomes less of a conversation. That's my answer.
Sure.
Is you come home and you have a stretch at home when you play and you win 4 or 5 in a row, and everybody stops talking about it. Like, that's a big part. But I don't ignore what he says, and I think, just extra effort from all of our part to make it mostly about us, our group of 26 that's playing the game that night, and try your very best to eliminate all the other stuff. Like, that doesn't matter over there. That doesn't matter over there. It's just about us, right? And let's get it done. So, but I do think a lot of things like this, these topics tend to disappear if you go out and have a good stretch at home.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Winning cures all.
Yes.
Are there? Some people read into this, Chad, and maybe incorrectly, that there are too many hitting coaches or hitting voices, or people that are around the cage. Is that related at all to what it is?
No, there hasn't been a single random hitting person that's come in. It's the same 4 guys that we've had since the changes were made, and those are the same guys that are in there. So no, that's the thing. There's a lot of things like, there's a bunch of extra people. That's not necessarily the case. It's just, I think broadly, there's just more people around, and I don't think it necessarily means just Red Sox people. Just think there's just a lot more going on at Fenway Park than there is at other places.
What do you make of Caleb Durbin and Narvaez as well going outside the organization to get batting help? We actually talked to Lorenzo Garmendia, who runs a place right up the street. I think it's Gradham Baseball. Caleb, I guess, reached out to him and ended up getting help with him. I think he came to the park yesterday and actually helped him. It is shocking from the outside looking in because you're like, wow, this is the Boston Red Sox. You would think that they had the best batting coaches and you wouldn't have to go outside of the organization. What do you think about that when something like that happens?
I think broadly there's probably a lot more players than you guys know that when these guys go home in the off season, you don't have enough hitting coaches to go home with them. They have people they work with, and I think there's a ton of players that have hitting coaches or people they work with in the off season that know them that they probably reach out to for help and advice.
But this is in the season at home.
Right. He's working hard with our guys too. Like, he's taking early hitting in Kansas City. He's working on all the things that he talked about. Getting the ball in the air, the vacancy on the right side of the field that he talked about. Like, I watched him take 2 sessions of early hitting on one of the most recent road trips, working on driving the ball to the opposite field and getting the ball off the ground. So these things get play, because it shows up on social media. I'm like, it doesn't mean that he's not working with our guys, working his tail off, like a lot of hours with our guys to get right. But I do think people talk to other people, as well outside of here. If they have people they're close with, that happens a lot.
In baseball, that's just kind of understood. That's how the ecosystem works. Because if I had a coach that would never want us getting advice from anybody. They're very territorial, whether it be trainers, coaches, hitting coaches. Baseball is different. It's a different.
I
kind of
think
ecosystem.
there's the ecosystems, particularly. I know it's during the season, but in the off season, like there's cohesion on finding out every guy when they go home in the off season where you're going, where you're going to be training, who you're working with, so we can be in communication with those types of people. Say, here's what we were doing during the season. Here's what we've been really pushing, and you're trying to get on board because that's going to happen. It's a long off season where they spend a lot of time alone, and you have to have that communication. So yes, I think it is a different ecosystem. Guys have to go get their work in. They're going to have people that do that, but you want to be on the same page. So I think that doesn't throw up any big radars for me. The most important thing to me right now is Caleb Durbin starting to swing the bat pretty good, and that helps the bottom of our order in a big way.
Speaking of swinging the bat, how's Roman Anthony taking his injury?
He's doing okay. I think he's probably frustrated on a couple of. I think he's frustrated that he can't be out there with us. There's been a lot of attention around it. That's another. It comes with the territory here. There's a lot of attention around it because he's not able to play right now. But I do think enough people internally have reached out to him and let him know, like, try not to get too caught up in the noise of things that are happening that maybe people don't know that are involved. Like, we got your back. We want you healthy. We want you back, but we want you to get back healthy. Not playing hurt. So. I think Roman's very even-keeled. You guys have heard me say that before. He's a very even-keeled person. He doesn't get too high or too low. He's focused on getting himself healthy and right so he can be in the lineup and help us.
Has he expressed any frustration on the mischaracterization of what his injury was by Sam Kennedy?
Roman doesn't do a lot of expressing frustration. I talked to him a good bit. He's not one that gets too bent out of shape about a lot of things. He doesn't do that. Whether or not he is, you guys could ask him, but I think Roman right now is just fine as far as knowing the people inside the room. Like, we're good. Like, we got to get you healthy. And we certainly don't want to ask you to go out there and swing a bat if you're having jolting pain in your hand or whatever it is. Like, we just got to get him right. So believe me, you talk enough to him, you'll realize he doesn't get, even on the bad end, he doesn't get overly frustrated and boisterous with that stuff. He just focuses on what he has to do.
That's good, because that's got to suck being in his position. Like, just wanting to play, and then especially when you feel that you're about to take that next step as you're seeing the try swings.
Right.
And then you just go, here we go again. And where he has a little bit of a back, I don't want to say a backslide.
Yeah.
But it's not where he wants to be.
Right.
And that's got to be tough having a young player, especially like that, where you just kind of almost got to be like, dude, just hang in there. Don't listen to the noise.
Right.
And just try to keep your head in it.
Right. And you're right about it. It's like a lot of people that want to go to the term, he had a setback, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, not necessarily. Like, when you're coming back from an injury, you expect there to be, especially that, you expect there to be things like, I'm going good. Oop, that didn't feel very, it's ups and downs. That's part of coming back from an injury.
Yeah.
It very rarely just goes perfectly. Like, we're going to start and everything, boom, 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 and everything's perfect. Like, that's not usually how most of them go.
Yeah.
So making sure that he knows, like, that we support him and, like, that, that we're not, like, pushing this guy to play hurt. We want him to be healthy. And I think he knows that.
Does your gut say after the All-Star break? Most likely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I won't say that because we usually get in trouble when we try to put timetables on things and and it doesn't happen or it happens earlier. Like, you just don't know. I think the best way you can handle that is everybody's body is going to respond to different things or different injuries differently, and you got to go with the flow of how that guy is improving and how he's feeling.
Yeah.
And when he starts to feel really good, you give him more, you give him more, you give him more, then you get him on a rehab assignment and get him back. So when that happens, we'll do that with Roman. But I don't want to put a timetable. Like, I hope it's sooner than that. But like, you just don't know.
Well, Chad, we're talking to Chad Tracy, and I sometimes want to get your opinion on, because the players seem to like gravitate towards you. You seem to be a guy who talks their language, and there was an article in the Boston Globe about how there's an impression around the league that the team has been leaning a little too hard on analytics and less on getting to know the actual player when they're looking around to, either bringing players in. But even Theo Epstein said on a recent podcast, he had a really interesting quote saying, what really makes a person tick as a player has become a lost art. Do you kind of feel the same? Is that baseball, not as much even the Red Sox, but just baseball in general, might be relying too much on numbers and not as much in actually doing the work and spending time with the players and getting to know them and saying, you know what, a guy like Kyle Schwarber may be over 30 and he might not be exactly, what the algorithm says is good, but my God, this guy can still hit bombs and he seems like a gamer.
He can hit. Can't he?
Yes, he can. Unfortunately, Red Sox know that too well.
I think the it's a good question. I think the secret in that whole thing is doing both.
Yeah.
And being good at doing both. I think both are right. Like there are over time, and I don't want to even use the word analytics. Like, it's statistics. Statistically, when you look at players, like over time, over larger samples, like have a pretty good idea of what players they reveal, who they are, what they may struggle with, you know, in certain situations versus lefties. Like it reveals, but at the same time, like yes, like that piece that you talked about, like understanding the player, having conversations with them, knowing who needs to be pushed and who needs to be patted on the back, like all these different kinds of things. Like those are really, really important. But that being said, you still need to know what are they good at and what are they not. And that doesn't mean you just say, oh, he's not good at, we got to try to make him better at it. But if I have X player that's a little better at that, then maybe there's a pinch hit opportunity there or whatever. So you have to know that information, and it's very rarely wrong information.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you got to communicate and you have to know that other side of it. And that makes players feel more engaged too. So for me, it lies somewhere in the middle there, is like knowing the information, but having people around that aren't afraid to have those conversations and really get in deep with the player. That's really important too.
Chad, any good news on Whitlock's return or Crochet?
Whitlock's doing really good. He threw a pretty intense side yesterday, so everything on track feels good. He's been feeling better every single day. So we'll see what next steps are for him. He may go through a rehab or something just to make sure that he's up and ready. He hasn't been down long, but things are progressing really nicely there. And then, Garrett, just the imaging just showed a very small strain in the lat. He's been improving each day too, so we're just basically in wait mode of like when he's asymptomatic to the trainers, testing and stuff, he can resume throwing. When that's going to be, I don't know, but it wasn't a serious thing that we found, but we do have to wait until he's asymptomatic.
What does this team need to win more games at home?
You're going to ask me that. I'm going to give you the pause, right? like Izzy or I did yesterday with the media too. I give you the pause because it's like we did nothing. We just need to play like we did in Cleveland, right? Like there was games here last week that we very easily could have won, and it's like you can pick apart and why didn't you? It's like, well, maybe one was we had a lead and the bullpen didn't hold one day, right? Or one was not a great start, but then we started banging the ball around and came up one run short. Mm-hmm. There's games within that we could have won, and we just need to put together a little stretch where you win 4 or something in a row, and you kind of get this whole thing, and the player feels like, all right, we've conquered that, now let's go.
Yeah,
that's easier said than done. I get it, but I don't. We need a stretch. We need a good stretch. That's really it.
Can I throw out just you can shoot it down? The one suggestion is the team profiles as a young team. So young guys playing in Fenway.
Yep.
It's a different vibe. You have new players that are coming in for the first time. Is it all maybe just the profile of the team because it's young and you have so many new guys on this team in playing for the Red Sox in Fenway for the first time that might be somewhat of a factor why they're not playing as good at home?
It could be, but then you'd say, well, what about X game that we lost 8-7? We scored 7 runs. We banged it around. They looked fine. They were comfortable.
Yeah.
I think there's something too, I think Izzy had made a comment like, man, if jump out to like a 3 or 4-0 lead and play with the lead, get the fans involved early.
WEEI. New England Sports Original.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
I wake up.
Since 1961, New Englanders have trusted one name to protect their homes and businesses: Warwick Tree Service. We blend 6 decades of experience with cutting-edge technology to handle even the most hazardous or hard-to-reach trees with surgical precision and minimal disruption. Our licensed arborists don't just remove trees, we provide the expert care and peace of mind that only comes from years in the field. Don't wait for the next storm. Visit warwicktree.com to schedule your free tree service assessment today. Warwick Tree Service. Safe, efficient, proven since 1961.
Sun's out, relaxation's in. It's time to plan your coastal Carolina getaway with Verbo. With Verbo Care included on every stay, you can book with confidence, knowing support is available before, during, and after your trip if things go astray. From beach houses to family retreats, find the space that's just right for you and yours. Verbo, your trusted partner for every stay. Book now.
Summer's a gift. the gift of days that last a little longer, a brighter state of mind. So gift yourself a new Kia at the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. With specially tagged vehicles including the Sorrento, Sportage, Carnival, as well as the Niro Hybrid. All backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So the gift of summer can keep on giving for summers to come. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Event ends 7/6/26. See dealer for warranty details.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
Speaking into the void.
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Create a space you can't wait to be in. It all starts at Frank Webb Home. With personal service and expert guidance at our local showrooms, we can help you find the bath, kitchen, and lighting solutions you need to enhance your space. With more selection and more expertise. Personal service to help you find your personal style. Visit frankwebb.com to schedule a free consultation in one of our 4.
This Odyssey Sports broadcast is presented by ZipRecruiter. Find out why 4 out of 5
pregame
employers...
show. Mass Mutual. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow. Now, here's Joe Weil.
Well, the Red Sox reigned supreme in Gotham last night, and tonight, under the bright lights of Yankee Stadium, Boston now looks to take the series in Game 2 of a 3-game set. From the WEEI Red Sox studios, I'm Joe Weil, and this is the Mass Mutual pregame show. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow. First pitch tonight in the Bronx is set as of now for 7:35. There are some strong storms set to roll through the area, so we'll see if we ultimately do get that first pitch going at 7:35, but as of now, that's still the case, and it's Will Fleming and Will Middlebrooks on the call from the Bronx. Well, the Red Sox, they might be 8 games under 500 overall, but they continue to play above 500 baseball on the road. They're now 17-14 away from Fenway Park this season, and even though the Yankees swept the Red Sox at Fenway Park earlier this year, Boston won on its first try in the Bronx in 2026. And a big reason why was Wilson Contreras, who provided the go-ahead hit on an infield single in the 3rd. And then when it was a 3-2 Red Sox lead in the 5th inning, he delivered the play of last night's game, brought to you by Nissan. Hurry in and bring home a winning deal at the Nissan Summer Sales Event. Now is the time to get behind the wheel of the Nissan Rogue, Pathfinder, and Frontier.
1-1. Contreras swings and drives one. If it's fair, it is way out of here. It is launched. It is gone. WC-40 to the moon. And it is 5-2 Red Sox. Thank you, Jazz.
Yeah, 2-run shot for Wilson Contreras, who has been everything
the Red Sox could have hoped for. He has a 934 OPS, which is third among all big league for first basemen. And WC40's WRC Plus is now 155, which is 11th best among all hitters in the sport. So that big swing made it 5-2. Sonny Gray, he logs a quality start in his return to Yankee Stadium. He allows 3 runs in 6 1/3 innings for a quality start. Boston wins 5-3, setting up tonight. And setting up tonight's opening take as well, which is brought to you by Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy. Sip the fruity candy-coated chaos. And the opening take is this. The Red Sox have to take advantage of the Yankees not having Aaron Judge. As we know, the superstar, he's out for the foreseeable future, and there is no more opportune time this season for Boston to beat New York than right now. The Sox are 9.5 games back of the Yankees right now in the standings. Of course, the Yankees are in second place in the American League East at 37-26. The Tampa Bay Rays, they're 37-23 entering action today. Boston in dead last, of course, in the division at 27-35. So it is literally now or never for the Red Sox with 100 games left in the season. And the Yankees, they've now lost 3 of 4 without Aaron Judge, who, as we know, was placed on the IL on Friday with a stress fracture in his rib. So in these 4 games, New York has only scored 13 runs on 26 hits, and the Yankees overall are now 14 games under 500 in 86 games with Aaron Judge out of the starting lineup since the start of 2022. So they're 36-50 in those games without Aaron Judge in the starting lineup. They're vulnerable. This is the time to take care of business against New York and doing it in New York. So that's the opening take, brought to you by Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy. Sip the fruity candy-coated chaos. And today's pitching matchup is brought to you by Town Fair Tire. For the best prices on tires, nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. And it's Ranger Suarez making his second start against the Yankees in a Red Sox uniform, and it's the right-hander Will Warren on the other side for New York. The Southpaw Suarez, he is 2-3 with a 3.38 ERA this season in 11 starts, and he's been good since signing that big contract in the offseason, but over his last 2 starts, he's 0-1 with an 8.10 ERA. And, of course, the Yankees did rough him up for 4 runs in 4 2/3 innings in a loss at Fenway Park on April 22nd. As for Warren, he's really been the unsung hero of the Yankees rotation. And you think about New York's rotation, you think of Cam Schlittler's emergence, you think of Garrett Cole's return. All the while, Warren has gone 7-1 with a 3.22 ERA this year. He's cut down his walk rate by roughly 2% from last year. And the Yankees, they win his starts. They've won 10 of his 12 starts this season. One thing they do is they score a lot of runs when he pitches. 7.1 runs per game, which is the best run support for any pitcher with a minimum of 10 starts under their belt. Now, last year, though, Warren was roughed up by the Red Sox in 3 starts. He had a 9.42 ERA and a 1-2 record against Boston. So we'll see if some of the success that they had last year translates here to tonight's game in the Bronx, middle match of a 3-game set. One of the members of the starting lineup, actually a former Yankee farmhand in Mickey Gasper. Mickey Gasper batting 6th now for the Red Sox tonight. He will be the starting catcher, and he is a star of the Baseball Isn't Boring 2-Minute Grill with Rob Bradford, presented by McFarland Energy, the region's most dependable provider of home heating oil, including BioHeat, as well as expert HVAC services at McFarlandEnergy.com. Here's Bradfo with Mickey Gasper.
All right, there's no human being on the planet I'd be talking to more than Mickey Gasper. How are you?
Great, Rob. How you doing?
I'm good. All right, so you were drafted by the Yankees. I looked that up. That's true. It's accurate. 27th round, right?
27th round.
All right, so when you're drafted by a team, do you like, okay, that's what you envision? You're like, if everything breaks right, that's the uniform I'm going to wear. That's the stadium I'm going to play. And, you know, is that how you kind of felt?
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel like you feel when you get drafted. You know that you're gonna go play for that team for the rest of your career. You know, I was very grateful to get the opportunity. That's for sure. You know, that was a long process for me, that draft. But you know, I got, you know, they gave a shot to a 27th rounder. You know, from the get-go, I had to earn my playing time, but they never shied away from playing me and giving me opportunities, and you know, I'm forever grateful for that.
Did you have any, this is maybe a cliche draft question, but did you have a sense that the Yankees were the team that's going to be interested, And when you talk about that day or those days, what was that like?
It was tough. I got a call like in the, I want to say like 10th to 12th range from the Cardinals. And then they took a catcher. I got a call from the Yankees in the 23rd round saying, we're looking at you right around here. And then they took another catcher from, I believe, St. Mary's. And then, I kind of gave up. I texted my coach from college and said I'm gonna need a job to coach with him. And then I ended up just going to my room and taking a nap for a little bit. And then my dad came up and told me I got drafted by the Yankees and in the 27th. So it was definitely a really, really cool feeling, but then a large chip went on my shoulder.
All right, the last thing is, so you played at Yankee Stadium? Yes, right. And you played at Yankee Stadium, you played against the Yankees. What's that dynamic like? And is it any different than playing? I know that like you're a ball player, you show up, you just want to do the best every single day. But is that any different because it's the Yankees, because it's Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, certainly. It's a little different. It's like probably, for me, coming here last year, playing against the Red Sox, it's similar to playing here as a road team. It's a cathedral baseball, and the fans are intense. And the lights are bright in these big cities and these big markets. Similar to other big places I played at, but yeah, for me, getting the start there, it was it was a new feeling, but I felt like I slowed it down, and just trying to carry that over into this week.
So that was Mickey Gasper with Bradfo as part of the 2-Minute Grill. And yeah, Mickey Gasper, you probably know the story at this point, but he was born and raised in New Hampshire, but he spent a lot of summers on the New Jersey shore, and his dad would take him to Yankee games. Mickey Gasper grew up a Yankee fan, and the younger Gasper grew up idolizing Derek Jeter because his dad told him to watch how the Hall of Famer played the game. The good news, though, from that point to now, he's now a member of the Red Sox organization, and Gasper's hitting .306 this year, batting 6th for the Red Sox tonight at Yankee Stadium here in Game 2 of a 3-game set. You can watch the Red Sox pregame show on Twitch. Just follow WEEI. Brought to you by Subaru of New England. Subaru summer is finally here. Details at SubaruofNewEngland.com. And coming up in about 15 minutes, Will Fleming sits down with Red Sox manager Chad Tracy. And Chad Tracy on WEEI is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and employee pricing for all. You pay what we pay, Ford, the official vehicle of Major League Baseball and that dirty water. But coming up next, Will Middlebrooks joins us from Yankee Stadium as we get you set for Boston versus New York. I'm Joe Wild. This is the Mass Mutual pregame show. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
I wake up.
Since 1961, New Englanders have trusted one name to protect their homes and businesses: Warwick Tree Service. We blend 6 decades of experience with cutting-edge technology to handle even the most hazardous or hard-to-reach trees with surgical precision and minimal disruption. Our licensed arborists don't just remove trees, we provide the expert care and peace of mind that only comes from years in the field. Don't wait for the next storm. Visit warwicktree.com to schedule your free tree service assessment today. Warwick Tree Service. Safe, efficient, proven since 1961.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
speaking into the void?
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to the Shaws and Star Market WEEI Red Sox Radio Network.
Red Sox versus Yankees tonight in the Bronx. Boston took game one. Now they look to win the series. Joe Weil with you inside the WEEI Red Sox studios, and this is the Mass Mutual pregame show. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow. New York pitchers gave up 2 home runs to left field against Red Sox batters last night at Yankee Stadium. Andy Pettitte and Ivan Nova know that feeling well, facing Will Middlebrooks in 2013. Brooksy now joins us from the booth at Yankee Stadium. Will, how we doing tonight?
Hey, don't you forget Mariano in that series, too. That was the biggest one, okay?
Now, that one was to right, though. And I will
was to right.
I will contend, or at least make the assumption, that Ichiro has never been more thrown off by a fly ball in his career.
Yeah, he didn't know the pop, Joe. He didn't. It surprised me too when you're facing that guy, a legend like that. That was one of the coolest moments of my life.
Now, without a doubt, he just underestimated you. That's all it was. But last night, we got to see some power from the Red Sox. That was a welcome sight. And, of course, Andrew Monasterio went deep, but so did Wilson Contreras, the big 2-run home run in the 5th inning. And, Will, he's up to a 934 OPS now in the season. I've always enjoyed watching this dude's energy and production from afar, but what have you seen from him up close this year that you may not have known, watching him in games in other markets?
Well, getting to see him every day, you really understand he just plays the game the right way. He's aggressive. He leads with his actions. It's hard. I'm not in the clubhouse, so I don't know how vocal he is. I would assume he's pretty vocal with the young team that's here with the Red Sox. But if you just watch him play the game, whether it's pregame, the way he goes about his defensive work, whether it's how he runs the bases, how he goes about each at bat, each pitch by pitch, he's in control all the time. And it's good to see him having a career year, and you just hope it doesn't get lost in a season that doesn't go as well as everyone's hoping it was going to go. There's still a lot of baseball left to play, but he's definitely doing his part. He's been fun to watch.
Yeah, 100 more games left. Of course, a big one tonight against the Yankees. Hopefully the weather doesn't get in the way too much here. But, one reason the Red Sox are where they are right now, Will, is because of the home-road splits. At home, obviously, 10-21 this season. But on the road, 17-14. They're averaging close to a run and a half per game more on the road. What have you made of this weird split this season?
Yeah, it is odd. Every good Red Sox team has always been a good home team. And they play to the strengths of, the dimensions of the stadium. The lefties using the monster. I thought it was funny. Jarren Duran, first pitch of the game, smokes a ball to left here, but it's an out and not a double like it would be at Fenway. And it's like, what's the difference? And, not to open the can of worms again, but, I thought the Kiner-Falefa comments were a little telling. I know the talk shows and everybody ran wild trying to figure out what he meant by that. And I honestly think there's an oversaturation of information at home because there is a massive analytical group, and those guys don't travel. They're home. I don't think those guys are in the clubhouse, but I do think they're in hitters' meetings. I do think they're in the batting cages. I do think there's more guys around, and you're meeting new people, and it's just a lot of noise. And when you have a team of guys that are young, it's simplify things, dumb it down. Baseball's hard enough, but when you have all these equations and pitch counts and percentages and all this in your mind, I think that can really play into your performance or the lack thereof. So that's my opinion. That's not me sitting down with Izzy and asking him that. That's just what I think, just based off of my experiences playing ball. Like I said, this game's hard enough. If you start trying to make it into math problems and you're thinking about all those things at the plate, you're not going to be successful.
No, I think that's really interesting, Will. And I hear you say that, and I don't know if you saw the comments from Manny Machado recently, just talking about all the numbers that he sees on the scoreboard. Do you feel like we've gone maybe too far away from the basics of what make this game great? Obviously, information is good, but to your point, too much information ends up becoming a problem.
Right, it does. And honestly, you can, as a player, you can sift through that and really just use what you need. So it shouldn't affect you as a player what the fans or analysts or just anybody who consumes the game of baseball uses to analyze the players and their performance and projections and things like that. It's interesting that he said that. But I definitely understand it. As a player, it can be confusing because number one, you don't need to know what all those mean because it doesn't affect you as a player. Number two, it's just, why would you? It's so much information that you don't need, and it's not for the players. It's for these analysts who are creating scouting reports, and it's for front offices judging players based on, how do we sign this guy in free agency? Do we want to trade for this guy? Do we want to put this guy on waivers and pick this guy up off waivers? Whatever it may be, underlying metrics are somewhat of a crystal ball for front offices. So I understand Machado's side of it. I take it with a grain of salt. I mean, that's his opinion. I do agree that it's gone a little far, but I understand why it has.
No, without a doubt. We got Will Middlebrooks with us. He's on the call with Will Fleming, Red Sox versus Yankees. Now, we don't need any advanced stats to say Aroldis Chapman is really good at his job, and he got the save again yesterday. The velocity was down, and Chad Tracy said after the game he's dealing with a hamstring injury. Rob Bradford put out a video that kind of showed that, basically him coming off the mound for that final out. How much more tricky does this make things for Chad Tracy and also Craig Breslow about how to handle Aroldis Chapman moving forward?
Yeah, I talked to Tracy a little on the side about this, and him saying, look, Chappie's an ultimate pro. He's been around forever. He knows his body better than anyone. Obviously, the workout regimen and the work he puts in, and he's very honest with the staff of whether he can go or not, because he knows he's been through it, just about everything in his career at this point, as long as he's been around. So he didn't see it as a problem as of now, unless it gets worse. It's something he's been dealing with for a while now. But last night was just his third time to throw in like 16 days because the team hasn't been in position to use him. Either they've been winning by more than what would be a save opportunity, or they've been losing games and he hadn't come in. So I'm sure that's, was part of the command issues yesterday. And he also threw a couple fastballs 98, 99. Most of them were at 95, which did get my attention. But a lot of times if you watch Chapman enough, when he doesn't have good command, he lets off the gas a little bit to find the zone. So that could have been part of it as well. In the pen, maybe knowing he didn't have great command. He definitely tweaked it a little bit. And obviously we saw the limping and all that. And my thing is other teams see that now. It's great if you can keep it under wraps and not let other teams know, because now teams might try to bunt on him. It's hard enough to hit off him. So I would expect when he's in the game, you're going to see first baseman, third baseman maybe playing in now that teams know he's not going to get off the mound as well.
Yeah, well, I had that same very thought, and it will be interesting to see how teams try to attack him moving forward because, just swinging the bat full way through, that's a pretty hard thing to do. And just wanted to add this note as well. Our very own Rob Bradford reports that teams right now are hearing no from the Red Sox front office about Chapman, Garrett Whitlock, and Justin Slayton. Moving forward here, Will, Ranger Suarez, he had that really great stretch of 7 starts with a 1.12 ERA. Since then, 9 runs on 14 hits against the Guardians and Braves. He was actually in line for a loss in Cleveland on Sunday before the Red Sox came back and won that game. What's the key for getting him back on track?
Yeah, it was interesting because even if you go back to the Atlanta start, he was 4 2/3 of scoreless ball and pitching really well, and then he gave up that homer to Olsen, which kind of ruined his stat line, and he kind of was downhill after that. It's interesting that Gasper's back there again with him, someone not familiar, but this team needs offense, and that's why he's in there against the righty Warren, because the at-bats from Gasper have been real, like big league at-bats, and the team needs that right now. So the learning curve definitely there. Him trying to learn Suarez. Suarez likes to work fast. He doesn't want to shake. He shook a lot his last start with Gasper back there. He did strike out 10, but he did give up 4 runs and 8 hits. So this is a tough lineup, even without Judge. I mean, you're looking at up and down. Obviously, you circle Rice, but tonight, in my opinion, you circle Goldsmith. There's a reason he's leading off. It's 385 against lefties. 5 of his 7 homers have been against lefties, and he's done this for a couple years. So that top half of the lineup's tough, but you can get through the bottom half. I don't want to say easily, but it's not as scary. So he's got to just live down the zone and pitch smart to these lefties, obviously with the short porch out and right staring at you.
Yeah, the Yankees, they lead the majors with an 802 OPS against left-handed pitching. As you mentioned, Will, Aaron Judge a part of that, but still some really good bats in there. Before I let you go, Will, what's it like being around New York with what's happening with the Knicks? Because I've always felt like if the Knicks win the title, that city's going to burn down.
Dude, this place was nuts last night. Like we went and walked around, Fleming and I, and Jenny's in town, and we walked around. We have some friends that live in the Upper East Side, and we went over there, and the bars were flooded with people. I mean, people in the streets watching the TV. Every time a big shot was made, it was going nuts. It was fun. It's hard not to pull for the Knicks to do something. I mean, they've been starved for a championship here since the Giants last won one. So It was cool to see just the city come alive. But yeah, to your point, there will be cars flipped and on fire if they pull this thing off.
Yeah, it'll get pretty crazy. So stay safe. And as it's related to tonight too, we'll try to stay dry. I know that rain could be coming here.
We just heard over the stadium it's not going to start on time.
There we go.
It looks like a big storm moving through. Probably 7:15. Working to like 8:45-ish. It keeps stretching out, but it's going to rain hard for a little bit. But I'm assuming it'll just be a late start, and then they'll get it in.
There we go. We hopefully don't have to wait too long here for Red Sox versus Yankees. We'll appreciate the time as always.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, coming up next, we're going to hear Will Fleming's sit-down interview with Red Sox manager Chad Tracy, and that is presented by your New England Ford dealers. But before we go to break, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification along the Shaws and Star Market WEEI Red Sox Radio Network.
From the WEEI studios, 93.7 WEEI FM and HD1, Lawrence, Boston. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, coming up next, Will Fleming with Chad Tracy. I'm Joe Wild. This is the Mass Mutual pregame show. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
Wake up.
Since 1961, New Englanders have trusted one name to protect their homes and businesses: Warwick Tree Service. We blend 6 decades of experience with cutting-edge technology to handle even the most hazardous or hard-to-reach trees with surgical precision and minimal disruption. Our licensed arborists don't just remove trees, we provide the expert care and peace of mind that only comes from years in the field. Don't wait for the next storm. Visit warwicktree.com to schedule your free tree service assessment today. Warwick Tree Service. Safe, efficient, proven since 1961.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The all-new Amazon Ember art line with Fire TV. With Alexa Plus, 10 custom frames and over 2,000 free works of museum-quality art. The Amazon Ember art line with Fire TV. It's not just a smart TV, it's an art TV. Separate subscriptions may be required. Viewing experience is subjective and may vary with content.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Hi, I'm Steph, and I work at United Healthcare. When I think about United Healthcare's members, I think of my own family. My niece was diagnosed with an ultra-rare genetic disorder. I know how hard it is for families. At United Healthcare, we can make it easier.
I'm Brian. I care because I know what it's like to not speak the language. It's not easy. Health insurance is complicated. I would say our job is to make everything easy for our UHC members. I work for United Healthcare. I'm committed to care.
You know what they say. Early bird gets the ultimate 30A vacation rental. On select homes, when you book early, you can save over $530 on a week-long stay with Vrbo. Because early gets you closer to the action, whether it's waves lapping at the shore or snoozing in a hammock that overlooks, well, whatever you want it to. So book early, stay longer, save more with Vrbo. That's the way to 30A.
You've built a great podcast. The content's solid, the audience is growing, but the money, still not where it should be. That's where the Odyssey Creator Lab comes in. We host your podcast for free, so you can keep doing your thing, while our experienced sales team does their thing, finding advertisers and bringing in revenue. No fees, no stress, just real monetization. Apply now at creators.odyssey.com and let us show you the money.
You're listening to the Shaws and Star Market WEEI Red Sox Radio Network.
62 games in, 100 still to go. And tonight, Boston goes for the series win in the second of 3 in the Bronx against the Yankees. We did just hear from the Yankees. You heard Will Middlebrooks just say this at the end of our talk back there, that the Yankees have already said that they do not intend to start tonight's game on time. They say information will be provided as it is received. Reason being is that there is some rain expected to move through the area in the Bronx. So again, a delayed start to tonight's game. It was originally set for 7:35. That is now no longer the case. But the Red Sox, they won last night. So once we get things underway tonight, they'll try to get the series win. And Boston is 13-5 in their last 18 road games. So hopefully that trend of playing well away from Fenway Park does continue tonight when we do get things underway. This is the Mass Mutual pregame show. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow. And before every game, we interview Red Sox manager Chad Tracy. And Chad Tracy on WEEI is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and employee pricing for all. You pay what we pay for the official vehicle of Major League Baseball in that dirty water. And here's Will Fleming with Chad Tracy.
Game 2 in New York with the manager Chad Tracy. That was really, really fun last night. Couple elements stood out. Obviously, Sonny battles through some early troubles, got away with some mistakes. Your offense kept picking him up over and over again. How happy were you with the response of your hitters?
Yeah, I mean, in particular, Mona hits the home run, they come back, get closer. Wilson hits a home run, so we kept, we get the lead, they bring it closer, we spread it out a little further. So that's what you like to see, right? As team gets a little closer, you add 2 more, and all of us that have played know it's demoralizing. You feel like, all right, we're getting close, and then boom, we're down by 3 again. So we got some big swings, which is huge. You're right, Sonny didn't have, and maybe the depth on the breaking ball, didn't get it to the bottom foot with the lefties as much as he would want, hung a couple, but once again goes out there, gives us a competitive outing, and pitches us far enough along where Danny can pick us up, and you get the ball in the hands of Slate and Chat.
You're in the eye of the hurricane. I know you're focused on every single at-bat, every game, but are you able to step back and go to 35,000 feet and say, I just, as the manager of the Boston Red Sox, won a game at Yankee Stadium?
I did. Last night, before we won, we hadn't won yet, I just took a moment in the 7th to look around and be like, did not have this on my bingo card when the year started, but here we are. So it's Yankee Stadium, and you're managing the Red Sox. So yeah, I've had quite a bit of advice from all the different baseball people I know that have had, big league time, other managers that have said what you just said, allow yourself a moment every once in a while to just kind of take a look around and enjoy yourself and enjoy what you're doing, and I'm definitely trying to do that.
I know you talk to your dad a lot. Is this a moment you reflected on with him?
I didn't talk to him after the game last night. I think he's at a golf outing today, so never want to interrupt him when he's golfing. But I will, if it's not tonight or tomorrow, but when we leave here, I'll definitely want to speak to him about this experience.
You talked about the big swing from Monasterio. I find it so impressive, guys who do not play every day and are able to get in there and help you. I mean, he was awesome defensively. What a big swing that was. Talk about how he's been able to stay sharp and what he's done for your club.
Well, first of all, mentally he stays locked in. He knows what his role on the team is. He knows that he's not necessarily, and we could get in his pinch, and he is, but he's not necessarily going to be in there every single day. So that's the first thing, is if you are a role player that you understand the role and you accept the role. And if you do that, you got a chance to be pretty good at it. And you just prepare yourself. Well, I got a pretty good idea. There's a lefty there. I'm probably in the lineup. So let me get myself ready for that day. He does that very well. So he's never going to be caught off guard by that. He also knows when you have a lot of lefties in there and a pinch hit opportunity comes up, it's probably your name that's getting called. So when you have a very good understanding of how you're going to be used, like, you should be prepared. And he gave us some good at-bats last night.
Chapman gets it done, but not without drama. And everyone with eyes could see that he is not himself. What's the latest on him, and how concerned are you going forward with Chapman?
Well, you're always concerned, when you see a guy, but, you also trust the player, and some outings more than others. Feels a little something. Maybe other outings he doesn't. But you're always watching to see where the stuff's at. You did watch him throw to Volpe. There's a few 99-mile-an-hour fastballs that went up there, and he looked very comfortable. So he knows his body. We communicate with him well, and obviously you just keep a close eye on it when you're watching it.
This Yankees team, they got 3 or 4 guys on any given night that can kill you. Last night, it felt like Rice was the guy to avoid, and of course, he hits the home run in the first inning, but you got him later in the game. Tonight, with a lefty on the mound, Goldschmidt is kind of that guy, the way that he's gone, and yet you still have to be so careful with Rice. How do you balance that delicate thing with those two?
Right, and you see what happened with Goldschmidt in the lineup, very designed around with the lefty on the mound. I'm sure, let's get him in the batter's box as much as possible versus the left-handed starter, so you can see that, and you obviously know that that's something you got to focus on. But you're not wrong. Regardless who it is, there's a handful of guys at the top of that order. And then even guys like you talk about Mona, they got Rosario that gets plugged in there against the lefty. And so there's guys you have to be very aware of, and you got to attack. And like we said yesterday, drive, count, leverage, and don't let them play the walk game and be out of the zone and let them get ahead in the count. But even with Judge out, there's still plenty of guys in that lineup that can do damage.
Rangers had a really good year, but it's not been as linear as some of his other seasons. There have been some ups and downs. Where is he today, and how can he be successful tonight?
Yeah, you're right. Even the Cleveland one marred a little bit by something that nobody can control. A fly ball to left that nobody can see, and it's an easy out, and it drops in left field. It happens, right? And that ends up a 4-run outing instead of 2. And so there's some of that. He struck out 10 in the game. That whole outing could have ended up 6 innings with 10 strikeouts, and baseball happens. So at the end of the day, when he's going right, you feel like he's going to pitch you into the 6th inning or through 6 innings. And when he's doing it right and he's in the zone and attacking, he's going to rack out some strikeouts, get some weak contact. So we know what vintage Ranger looks like. If you get that, you're usually in really good shape.
You decide to give Siegler a chance at second base. What goes into that decision?
Just the numbers versus right-handed pitching. When a guy comes up, you want to get him involved. Got him a pinch hit the other day in a kind of a 8-1 game. Let's get him in the game as a Red Sox. That was important that he got that AB. And now it's like, while he's here and we got a right-handed matchup, let's get him a shot. Gives Izzy a little bit of a blow to kind of recollect, and we get his bat in there against a right-handed pitcher.
Bullpen otherwise okay today? You use Slayton, you use Chapman, but are you loaded up to go after a series win?
Yeah, especially with Gamby here too. So we're not only guys available. Danny didn't throw much, so we have guys up, and we also have some coverage on games either direction to be able to manage and save bullpen. So we should be in a pretty good spot.
I wanted to ask you about that because we asked you yesterday about using Giovanni for the couple innings at Fenway, and you said we wanted to line up Coulomb. Well, he made you look very smart last night.
Yeah, we were trying our very hardest, knowing exactly what you said. The Yankees are very left-handed, so and you also know your starters are pretty good. So all right, do we need 2 of them? No, but we probably need 1 of them. Our starter does his job. It pitches us to a lane where we need 1 lefty with Slate and Chap. Having Danny online was important, and he went out and did a fantastic job shutting that inning down and getting the ball to Slate.
So Giovanni goes down with a little elbow soreness. He said he felt better today. What is it about Gamboa that got him the shot again?
He's thrown the ball great. We got a brief glimpse of it in Detroit. You saw the fastball up to the mid-90s. He's usually in the strike zone. It's got life on it. It's hard to see because he's got that big rock. And he's thrown well down there. He's thrown the ball effectively in Worcester, and he's deserved the opportunity. So knowing that he can fill a role where, hey, if we got short and we needed some lefties out, he can do it. If we need some length, he can do it. He's very multidimensional. He's thrown out of the pen. He started, and he provides our bullpen with some length.
Does it make it more special to win here in this city with your family around to share it with you?
Yeah, yes. I'll just answer that very plainly. Yes, having them here and watching my kids experience all this, it's given me deja vu. I watch them, I see their faces, and I can remember very specifically all these same moments, and it's very cool.
Very, very cool indeed. Thanks, Chad. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that is Chad Tracy with Will Fleming, and you just heard them talk about it a little bit. Giovanni Moran, he was placed on the 15-day IL, retroactive to June 5th, and Alec Gamboa takes his spot as he was called up from AAA Worcester. Meanwhile, in Worcester, Garrett Whitlock on a rehab stint. He did toss a scoreless top of the third inning against the Buffalo Bisons, the AAA affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays. You can watch the Red Sox pregame show on Twitch. Just follow WEEI, brought to you by Subaru of New England. Subaru summer is finally here. Details at SubaruofNewEngland.com. Coming up next, we are going to get you tonight's starting lineups, the lock of the game, and a Subaru of New England scoreboard. Again, we will have a delayed start today in Yankee Stadium, but in about 15-20 minutes, we will send it out to both Will Fleming and Will Middlebrooks to discuss tonight's game. But it's Red Sox versus Yankees, delayed start today in the Bronx. I'm Joe Wild. This is the Mass Mutual pregame show. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
I wake up.
Since 1961, New Englanders have trusted one name to protect their homes and businesses: Warwick Tree Service. We blend 6 decades of experience with cutting-edge technology to handle even the most hazardous or hard-to-reach trees with surgical precision and minimal disruption. Our licensed arborists don't just remove trees, we provide the expert care and peace of mind that only comes from years in the field. Don't wait for the next storm. Visit warwicktree.com to schedule your free tree service assessment today. Warwick Tree Service. Safe, efficient, proven since 1961.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them? That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Hi, I'm Steph, and I work at United Healthcare. When I think about United Healthcare's members, I think of my own family. My niece was diagnosed with an ultra-rare genetic disorder. I know how hard it is for families. At United Healthcare, we can make it easier.
I'm Brian. I care because I know what it's like to not speak the language. It's not easy. Health insurance is complicated. I would say our job is to make everything easy for our UHC members. I work for United Healthcare. I'm committed to care.
The Recap Show is an inside look into the world of global soccer and women's sports.
Follow and listen to The Recap Show wherever you get your podcasts.
The Shaws and Star Market WEEI Red Sox Radio Network.
And this is the Mass Mutual pregame show. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow. We will have a delayed start tonight in the Bronx. There's some rain passing through the area. So, again, we're going to get it out to Will Fleming and Will Middlebrooks just for an opening thought. Then we'll send it back here to the studios. But again, a delayed start tonight between the Red Sox and the Yankees in the Bronx. Of course, Boston won last night by a score of 5-3. So now the Sox are 27-35 on the year, still 8 games under 500, but they're getting it done on the road for the most part at 17-14. The Yankees now 37-26, 18-12 in the Bronx, but without Aaron Judge, obviously, and out for the foreseeable future as well. And the Yankees are just 1-3 now without Aaron Judge since he was put on the IL. Time now for today's starting lineups, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. So let's meet tonight's players. We get you the 9 here for the Red Sox. Jarren Duran, he leads things off. He is in left field. He has reached base safely in 18 of his last 19 games. Cedar Rafaela in the 2 spot. He's in center field. He went 0 for 4 yesterday with a walk. Wilyer Abreu in the 3 spot. He's out in right field, and he's played in 61, now 62 games, and he has 67 hits. Both marks lead all players on the Red Sox. How about the guy in the 4 spot this season? Wilson Contreras, just a tick under 300 with the average at 299, but he has a 934 OPS, and he's got a 17-game on-base streak. In that span, he has been an absolute monster with an OPS of 1245. Masataka Yoshida, he's the DH tonight. He's 1 for 3. He went 1 for 3 yesterday with a run, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Mickey Gasper behind him in the 6th spot as the catcher. Of course, the guy that was drafted by the Yankees out of Bryant back in 2018 in the 27th round. 79 looks like this. Caleb Durbin, who's rocking an 8-game hitting streak. He is at third base, and then it's Anthony Siegler who gets to start his first as a member of the Red Sox, and he gets to start at second base. He came over in that trade in the offseason with Milwaukee that obviously sent Kyle Harrison to the Brewers. And then Marcelo Meyer, he rounds out the 9 as the shortstop, and he's facing a guy on the other side in the Yankees, Will Warren, who's been really good. Warren, 7-1 with a 3.22 ERA in 12 starts, but Marcelo Meyer's first career home run came at Yankee Stadium last year, and it came off of this very guy in Will Warren. Let's get you the 9 now for the Yankees. It's Paul Goldschmidt leading things off. He is at first base. Ben Rice in the 2 spot as the DH. What a season he's had for the Yankees. 18 home runs, including 1 last night with a 305 average, 398 on base percentage, and a 652 slugging percentage. Cody Bellinger, he's batting third. He is in left field. Ahmed Rosario, he bats cleanup, and he's playing third base, a lefty killer, and also one against Ranger Suarez. He drove in all 4 runs last time the Yankees faced Ranger Suarez, and that was in April at Fenway Park, but ended up being a Yankees victory. Rosario in that game among the 4 RBIs hit a 3-run home run. Trent Grisham, who went deep yesterday, he bats 5th. He is the center fielder. Anthony Volpe is the shortstop. He bats 6th. He's the as I mentioned, the shortstop. And then 79 looks like this for New York tonight. It is Jazz Chisholm at second base. Jose Caballero gets to start in right field. And then Ali Sanchez, he is the catcher for the Yankees. He was just recently called up. And by the way, Austin Wells was actually placed on the 10-day injured list just 34 minutes ago, and the Yankees have recalled J.C. Escara up from AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre to help out the catcher depth in New York. Suarez on the mound for the Red Sox, 2-3 with a 3.88 ERA across 11 starts, 58 2/3 innings pitched, 49 hits, 19 walks, 57 strikeouts. Looking for some revenge against New York after the first start against the Yankees. Didn't go so great, but we know how good this guy can be for Boston. Hopefully that's the case tonight. Let's get to the lock of the game now, presented by Interlock Metal Roofing. Visit interlockroofing.com and never re-roof again. And my lock of the game is Wilson Contreras, extending that on-base streak to 18 games tonight. He's been red hot, feels like a good pick. Time now for a Subaru of New England scoreboard update. Subaru summer is finally here. Details at SubaruofNewEngland.com. In the division, Toronto ended up taking down Baltimore by a score of 6-4. So for the Blue Jays, it ended up being a 4-run third inning that proved to be the difference for the Blue Jays in this one, who are now 31-34 in the campaign. They've been dealt a ton of injuries, as we know. Just in Worcester, the last 3 days, they have started Dylan Cease, Max Scherzer, and today Shane Bieber, which just gives you an idea of how much the injury bug has hit them, especially on the pitching front to a certain extent. But they do get the win today against the Orioles, so they have an identical record at 31-34. Meanwhile, the Rays, they lost to the Miami Marlins in Miami by a score of 4-3. Shane McClanahan, he'd been so good for the Rays, but in this one, he ends up giving up 4 runs in 5 innings of work. So the Yankees now just a game back of the Rays in the AL East standings. You've been listening to the Mass Mutual pregame show. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow. Big thank you to Zach Coe. I'm Joe Weil. Hang tight. We will send it out to Yankee Stadium despite the delay to tonight's game. And I actually undersold our booth tonight. It's Will Fleming, Will Middlebrooks, and Lou Merloni on the call between the Red Sox and the Yankees. We're sending it out to those guys next on the Shaws and Star Market WEEI Red Sox Radio Network.
You've been listening to the Mass Mutual Red Sox pregame show. Mass Mutual. Talk to Mass Mutual today. Feel comfortable about tomorrow. The Red Sox are coming up next on the Shaws and Star Market WEEI Red Sox Radio Network.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
I wake up.
Since 1961, New Englanders have trusted one name to protect their homes and businesses: Warwick Tree Service. We blend 6 decades of experience with cutting-edge technology to handle even the most hazardous or hard-to-reach trees with surgical precision and minimal disruption. Our licensed arborists don't just remove trees, we provide the expert care and peace of mind that only comes from years in the field. Don't wait for the next storm. Visit warwicktree.com to schedule your free tree service assessment today. Warwick Tree Service. Safe, efficient, proven since 1961.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Hi, I'm Steph, and I work at United Healthcare. When I think about United Healthcare's members, I think of my own family. My niece was diagnosed with an ultra-rare genetic disorder. I know how hard it is for families. At United Healthcare, we can make it easier.
I'm Brian. I care because I know what it's like to not speak the language. It's not easy. Health insurance is complicated. I would say our job is to make everything easy for our UHC members. I work for United Healthcare. I'm committed to care.
I want to tell you about a new podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore. It's about interesting family stories and the truth behind them. It's available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Arbella Insurance has been doing business in the New England community for over 35 years. They're your friends, your neighbors, and fellow Boston fans. They do the wave at the ballpark together and get stuck in the same Sturo Drive traffic. At Arbella, being your neighbor helps them provide you with the coverage you need to drive, live, or run a business in this part of the country we call home. Arbella, here for Boston fans, here for good.
Having health insurance is a must-have, and the Massachusetts Health Connector has a power-packed lineup in Connecticare plans that delivers. At the top of the order, lower premiums make bumpy costs affordable. The middle of the lineup is packed with low copays and no deductibles, so you can save money on everything. From an urgent ER trip to managing chronic disease like diabetes and hypertension through no-cost prescriptions. Round out the order access to Connecticare plans now at mahealthconnector.org, and you have a winning team with you and the Massachusetts Health Connector.
This is Red Sox baseball.
Can you believe it?
On the Shaws and Star Market WEEI Red Sox Radio Network.
It is gone! Say done! Say good night! Swing and a miss, strike three, it's over! And the Red Sox win! Jump on his back, fellas, the Red Sox win!
The Red Sox on WEEI are brought to you by Shaws and Star Market, the official supermarket of the Red Sox Radio Network. Citgo. Download the Club Citgo app now and instantly save 23 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. Subaru of New England. Don't miss the Subaru of New England A Lot to Love event.
23-year-old Clay Buchholz has no-hit the Baltimore Orioles.
Nissan. Shop your local Nissan store and NissanUSA.com. Arbella. Here for good. Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Ford Trucks, official truck of the Boston Red Sox. Sponsored by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. 110 Grill. Visit any of their 33 locations all throughout New England. McFarland Energy, the region's most dependable provider of home heating oil delivery, as well as expert HVAC services.
Way back by the wall! Off the wall, the Red Sox win!
Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers, Boston's go-to injury attorney for over 30 years. Timber Tech Decking and Railing. Everything wood should be. Visit timbertech.com. Dig Safe. Click digsafe.com or call 811 before you dig.
Way back! Grand Slam!
Interlock Metal Roofing. Visit NewEnglandMetalRoofing.com and never re-roof again. North Shore Adult Diapers. For even the heaviest control problems, visit NorthShore.com. Veterinary Emergency Group. Sponsored by Veg. ER for Pets. The official emergency veterinarian group of Red Sox Radio.
Two-run homer! Roman reigns supreme!
Now, with all the play-by-play action, here's Will Fleming, Will Middlebrooks, and Lou Merlone.
Good evening and welcome to Yankee Stadium, which for now is gray and overcast and windswept, but momentarily is going to be extremely rainy. The Red Sox and the Yankees are slated to play the middle game of a three-game series after a thrilling 5-3-1 win in the opener. The Red Sox trying to secure a series win here tonight with Ranger Suarez on the mound against Will Warren, and all of that is weather permitting. It looks awful on the radar. We are in a delay. We will not start on time. And who knows when the rain may move through the Bronx. It is a massive system to our west that is moving through town. Along with both Will Middlebrooks and Lou Merlone, I'm Will Fleming. We're excited for a ball game. We hope to have it for you in some form of short order. Joe Wiles going to have a little Sox talk once we have a conversation here in the broadcast booth at Yankee Stadium. First things first, Will. A thrilling win last night for the Red Sox. Ranger Suarez has a chance to lock up a series win here tonight for the Red Sox. These are weird days for a player where you wait all day. You're riding the momentum of a win last night. You know the guys are bouncing off the walls. They probably went for walks around town with their families. They set their life and body clocks to be ready to go at 7:35. You do your pregame routine, and then step on the brakes. What's it like being in the clubhouse waiting for a game like this?
Well, you're just trying to keep your mind on the game. You don't ever want to get to the point, Lou, where you're just like, oh, we're not playing, right? You want to keep the switch on, and whether that's going in the cage and moving around, you don't want to just sit around too much after BP, because when you're on the road, it's BP, you eat quick, you get dressed, and you go. It's quick. Now you get to sit around for a couple hours. You just got to keep moving around.
I think that's the biggest thing, like you said. Don't look at the radar and think, could this game get canceled? You got to always think you're going to be playing this game. Luckily, a guy like Ranger Suarez pitching for the Red Sox, he's probably been sitting on the couch for about a couple hours just kind of relaxing because he's so low-key anyways. I mean, he's preparing to pitch, but I don't know if it really affects him that much. He's not exactly wired that way.
Meanwhile, it's always worth noting what's going on around these Red Sox-Yankees series. The owner, John Henry, was here today. And listen, all the talk around our town about whether the ownership group is engaged or not, look, the three of us can definitively say, like this season, other than years when they make World Series runs, John and Tom have been around way more. They're engaged. They are paying attention. And I think, Will, it is totally worth noting that they are eyes open. They want this thing turned around, and it is a statement that they're around the team as much as they are.
Yeah, they've been here a lot, and I think a big part of that is this next month is really important for the future of this team. Right, you're looking at what's gone on up until this point. Hadn't gone well. Things haven't gone right. But I mean, this is a big month.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys slow starts that are starting to turn it around, and you're trying to figure out. Look, the AL's a mess, right? You don't want to talk wild card and all that, but that's a big part of this. Are you in the mix or not? If you get hot and go on a run, is it worth investing in this team, or do you trade those pieces and rebuild and get ready for the next season? There's a lot of decisions to go into it over the next month.
Yeah, it is a big month. I mean, you got to stay where you are. We know the American League is a complete mess.
Yeah.
But if you go backwards, and in 3-4 weeks from now, you're sitting there 7-8 games back and 6 teams in front of you, then we know what direction it's going. Or at least we know where it should go. I mean, nobody wants to sort of sell, but you got to be realistic about you're not doing your job if you're not investigating it. But if you can get hot here in the next 2 or 3 or 4 weeks and swing the bats, get your rotation set, get your bullpen back locked in again, and get within a game or tied in that wild card, because nobody's playing well in this wild card. Now you start talking about adding, because right now it's really hard to add. Just is.
And the schedule's tough. I mean, not just this road trip, but really over the next month, you play a lot of good teams, a lot of contenders, good arms. So it's now or nothing. They got to show up.
There's no doubt about it. And look, we have been open about the fact that, John and the ownership group get some heat for not speaking publicly to the media. And I think we all agree that it would probably make it easier on them if they did. But like today in the Red Sox dugout, John Henry sat with 5 writers for like 45 minutes and gave them a lot of stuff off the record and was talking about the way that he wants to turn this team around. And I think we are at that crossroads now where the Red Sox, Lou, there was a shot on your telecast last night in the dugout, Sonny Gray's battling, and it's Crochet, Tolley, Early, and Ranger. 4 of them on the railing. And it's impossible to not think to yourself, well, that's a playoff rotation. That's the kind of rotation that can take you deep into a season.
And that's why you're still sitting there saying, no matter where you are in the standings, and I know every time you kind of get some momentum, you go home and you get swept, or you lose, have a bad homestand. And it is frustrating. You get in a row and it looks normal. But you do. You look down there in that bullpen, or you look every 5th day, whether it's Sonny Gray, Suarez, Tolley, Early, Crochet coming back. I think you have an outstanding, borderline elite rotation.
Yep.
You have the best defense in all of baseball. So how can you be so elite? And you love the back end. Hopefully Whitlock comes back on Tuesday. You love the back end of the bullpen. You can call that elite. So how can you be elite in the bullpen defensively and in the rotation and be where you are? So that's why it's like it's a tease. You need a bat. You need an everyday bat rather than rotating infielders around. You need an everyday infield bat, which is really hard to get this time of year, Will.
You need a hitter that's feared in that lineup, right? You have Wilson Contreras, who's having a career year. Wilyer Abreu has shown that he can be a difference maker. Obviously, at some point you get Trevor Story back. You don't know what you get from him, but you hope that he goes on one of his tears for a month and carries the team. There's potential for this offense to do it. I think the most frustrating part is you look at the body of work and you're like, they're this close to being a really good team. And you lose a lot of games that bad teams lose. We've talked about this ad nauseum. But, they score a few runs, they win a ton more ball games, and they're that close.
There's no doubt about that. I think we all thought they needed another bat on opening day.
Yeah.
And now you're without Trevor Story, and you're without Roman Anthony, and we understand how hard it is right now to do what we're talking about. But with all that's on the line, with all the pieces that are in place, Lou, don't you think, it's all on the margins, right? Like if you're trying to go get, let's just throw a name out. Let's just say Matt Chapman, who would be a great fit for this club. If the San Francisco Giants are saying, okay, you can have Matt Chapman for Connolly Early and Franklin Arias, well, obviously you're hanging up the phone. You're not doing that. But even if you're not willing to go that far, don't you think with all the things that are going well with this team, other than a consistent offense, it might be time to get a little bit uncomfortable and try to make it happen?
That's the type of bat you're looking for, a guy that's somewhat underperformed in a very difficult ballpark to hit. But he brings you defense. He brings, more importantly, he's a veteran. He brings a little bit of leadership, middle of the order bat, so be it, and hopefully it clicks in a new environment, because this is a guy that's hit 21, 27 homers. But anyways, not specifically to him, but you're right. But you're right. I mean, and you wonder, listen, Craig's in here talking to all these media. He's had a tough week, kind of getting it from all over the place, and I think he wants to make a trade and give this team a chance. You got a new CBA coming, so you can throw out all the rules of salary and penalties and everything else. All that will reset, no matter what the CBA is. So, but again, it is really hard, because right now that's probably what they're looking for, and it's just not realistic.
Ranger Suarez, Will, has been a little bit up and down lately. This is the kind of start you brought him over for. We hope that the rain will get out of here in, say, an hour and a half or so, and Ranger can take the mound. He's not been himself lately. Of course, the ball was dropped in the sun. He did not handle that well, kind of melted down in a way that we didn't see from him almost ever before. But the stuff, the command, has not been as elite as before. What do you expect he needs to do to turn it around tonight?
Well, he's got to keep the ball down, and he's got to pick his spots with this lineup. And it's not just Ben Rice. It helps Aaron Judge isn't in there, but you got Goldschmidt, who's hits .385 against lefties. He's mashed lefties for most of his career. 5 of his 7 homers are against lefties. And then you have Ben Rice, who's hitting over 300 against lefties. So you got to circle him, too. The second half of that lineup, he should be able to handle, right, with his stuff, and just keeping the ball down, pitching to this stadium, keeping the ball in areas over the plate where you can't just pull it out of here, even with a mishit.
Little roster news, Lou. The Red Sox put Giovanni Moran on the IL with a little elbow tenderness. Alec Gamboa, who made his debut with the Red Sox earlier, is here. Garrett Whitlock threw today for Worcester. He walked a couple. Chad Tracy told us before the game he wasn't that worried about that, but that he does want to talk to Whit and see whether Garrett feels like he needs another outing or not. If not, he could rejoin the club Tuesday in Tampa. And with what we saw from Chapman last night, that feels like a really important guy to get back.
Yeah, boy, I don't know. Last night watching Chapman, and in Cleveland, too. Remember that ball that was chopper off the mound that he went to? That was your first eye-opening experience. Last night, I think, was pretty bad. But, he's a professional. He's done it before. There's communication. He can still pitch with it. So, hey, so be it. Whitlock's the guy you really need. I mean, you really... you want to get into that mode of like 6 innings last night from Sonny Gray, pat him on the butt. Okay, here comes Slayton, Whitlock, Chapman, game over. So that would be a nice thing, nice addition. I did think it was curious, Gamboa coming up. We saw him. He looked good in his first big league appearance. But because of the IL stint, doesn't that make Samaniego available to come right back?
Yes,
and
it does.
And he didn't.
By the way, it feels like the Wizard of Oz right now. I mean, honestly, there are trash and Kleenex and hot dog wrappers swirling everywhere. I believe light rain is starting to fall. It is about to absolutely dump here in the Bronx.
Can you imagine the trash blown around Manhattan right now?
Ooh, seriously.
And the funny thing
streets?
is, like the tarp, I like their way of keeping it down.
We have tractors.
11 tractors.
That's how you know the big winds
on
are
the
coming.
field. Usually you just do the sandbags on the side. We got 12 tractors on the field on the tarp. This thing must be coming good.
It is. You can see it, man. It is howling here, and fans are starting to head for cover now. Light rain falling. It is about to be torrential, so the concourses are going to be packed here.
What are we going to do?
Stadium.
Go play some cards?
Yeah, let's do it.
A couple beers.
Bring some poker chips.
The beer lines are going to be way too long.
We got a guy.
You'll wait.
By the way, David Ortiz right there. I guarantee he's got something.
You can make a phone call. That is pretty cool, by the way. I mean, in the booth next to us, Jeter, Ortiz, and A-Rod. David's got to tell those Yankees to be quiet, don't you think?
A lot of people in the hallway.
Yeah, I gave a big old hug, big bear hug to Poppy, and I'm going to smell, this shirt's going to smell like it for at least 3 washes.
It's really fun. I mean, look, especially Jeter and Ortiz. I mean, really, you can say that in the last 25 years, beyond that, really, those two guys are the most important figures to their franchises. It's really cool to see them in their post-playing careers continue to stay engaged and involved with the game. And what I love, it's the beauty of this game. We talk about it all the time, that you can have a guy that looks like Caleb Durbin be in the big leagues and a guy like Aaron Judge. Similar how different they both are. I mean, Jeter and Papi could not be more different as human beings, and yet both were just so legendary for their franchises.
Yeah. And, the other guy in there, too, you can say what you want, whether... I know a lot of people have opinions of Alex Rodriguez, but
Sure.
he is one of the greatest hitters
of
all time.
He was one of the most gifted athletes ever.
That booth, nobody wants to go through that 2-3-4 right there.
No.
In the lineup.
It almost happened. A-Rod was almost in Boston before the trade got sort of vetoed.
Gnarly here.
Yep. It is time to batten
cover.
down the hatches.
I mean, the flags are about to blow off the flagpoles here.
It's unbelievable.
We're gonna find
Really,
a
I mean, literally.
tornado shelter.
They need the tractors.
It's like a tornado machine. And you know the scene in Armageddon where the spaceship comes over Earth? That's what the clouds look like over the field.
And they're moving quick.
Yeah, they are. Well, I hope they move in quick and move out quick.
Oh, please. We're here. It took us
Let's play a ball
3
game.
hours to get here, so hopefully get a game in.
It's Yankees and Red Sox. We want to play. Hopefully the rain will settle down. Joe Wile's going to have you covered. By the way, that injury report with Moran going to the injured list brought to you by CVS. CVS knows that where you get your medicine matters. That's why they've got you covered at CVS. We'll get you the lineups, set the scene, give you our Mafre feelings when it's time to have a ball game. Red Sox and the Yankees, hopefully within the next 90 minutes or so. We'll pop back on in an hour or so and chat with Joe and give you the latest from Oz. Is what Yankee Stadium feels like right now. Sox and Yanks, hopefully before too long. Sox Talk next with Joe Weil on the Shaws and Star Market WEI Red Sox Radio Network.
Having health insurance is a must-have, and the Massachusetts Health Connector has a power-packed lineup in Connected Care plans that delivers. At the top of the order, lower premiums make bumpy costs affordable. The middle of the lineup is packed with low copays and no deductibles, so you can save money on everything. From an urgent ER trip to managing chronic disease like diabetes and hypertension through no-cost prescriptions. Round out the order access to Connected Care plans now at mahealthconnector.org, and you have a winning team with you and the Massachusetts Health Connector.
Arbella Insurance has been doing business in the New England community for over 35 years. They're your friends, your neighbors, and fellow Boston fans. They do the wave at the ballpark together and get stuck in the same Sturo Drive traffic. At Arbella, being your neighbor helps them provide you with the coverage you need to drive, live, or run a business in this part of the country we call home. Arbella, here for Boston fans, here for good.
If you're in the market for Michelin tires, get to Town Fair Tire and get them at the guaranteed lowest price. With Michelin's innovative technologies designed for durability and performance, you can trust you're getting high-quality tires over all the toughest of road conditions. Plus, at Town Fair, you get free services for life. So, if you're looking for the best deal on Michelin tires, get to Town Fair. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Take Boston sports with you wherever you go. Download the Odyssey app. Now, back to Red Sox baseball on WEEI.
Joe Weil back with you here inside the WEEI Red Sox studios. Sox Talk time. Yes, we are in a rain delay at Yankee Stadium. You just heard our great three-man crew of Will Fleming, Will Middlebrooks, and Lou Merlone talk about the conditions, the swirling winds, how it looks like the Wizard of Oz out there in the Bronx. So we're going to be waiting this out. We will eventually get this thing rolling, but we may have to wait a little bit. But this is the fun time of these broadcasts when we do have a delay, where we give you the opportunity to talk to us here on Sox Talk. So let's give the number out first. 617-779-7937. The number to call here on Sox Talk. 617-779-7937. Those guys out in the Bronx were talking about the Fox crew of Alex Rodriguez, David Ortiz, Derek Jeter, and my producer here, Zach Coe, made a great point that with the delay here, before we eventually get to first pitch, it's going to feel like the Red Sox Yankees games of years ago when it lasted 4.5 hours. Obviously, the game itself shouldn't last that long, but when our scheduled first pitch came to be, or was supposed to be, at 7:35, to where this game will eventually end. If you do look at the radar, there's at least on my iPhone, there are a couple different ways that you can kind of see the radar, the level of rain. There's light, there's moderate, there's heavy, there's extreme, and extreme is about to roll through New York pretty soon here, if it hasn't even started already. So that's the situation. Again, the scenario you would believe would play out is that we're going to eventually get to some baseball tonight in the Bronx, and a chance for the Sox to take the series here against the Yankees. And I said it in the pregame. It was my opening take. Like, this is the most opportune time to beat the Yankees, who do not have Aaron Judge. And when the Yankees don't have Aaron Judge, they're a very beatable team. The on-off splits, so to speak, are pretty noticeable. And for when this team doesn't have Aaron Judge in the starting lineup, at least dating back to 2022, they're 36-50. They need him. And you think about like 2023 for the Yankees, their season really went downhill when they didn't have him. This is the time to start racking up W's. And if you're not winning at home, you need to start winning on the road more. And they also obviously need to start winning at home. That needs to be the change if this team is going to go anywhere. And again, we want you to chime in, 617-779-7937 here on Sox Talk. The question I have for you guys listening out there is, do you want this team to buy? We have seen reports, especially from Buster Olney, among others, where there is talk about getting a little bit uncomfortable to try to get a right-handed bat in. There is exploration of that. Do you feel like this team should go that route, or do you think they should start selling off pieces soon? I thought it was really interesting today. Rob Bradford tweeting out, this was earlier in the day, that he says he's hearing right now teams are being told no when asking about Chapman, Whitlock, and Slayton. Because if you're in the we should start selling off mindset, those are the guys front and center, I think, for doing that. Especially Chapman. Now, the interesting part of this conversation for him is that hamstring, how much that's going to hamper him. Because if you saw Bradfo's video of him coming off the mound on the game-ending play yesterday, it didn't look good. You want him to be healthy for a multitude of reasons. If this team is going to try and continue to compete, you obviously want them to keep Chapman because he's been so good. But if this thing continues to spiral, he's a really enticing piece, obviously, for a contending team. Think about the last time he was traded and what the Royals got. Now, he's obviously a little bit older than when he was traded from Kansas City to Texas, but the Royals got Cole Reagans, who, when healthy, is a really good starter. I think if you're in the camp of we want this team to buy, we need to go out and go get somebody because we still believe we can compete, the time is really now, I think, because if this continues to go the way it has gone for the most part this season, it becomes foolish. And then how far do you set this franchise back by going out and really making a big acquisition? So again, 617-779-7937. I think what would also be fun, because we're going to have plenty of time. It seems like we're at least going to have an hour delay. I want you guys to share your favorite Red Sox-Yankees memories too. Obviously, the forefront to your mind probably comes 04. Could be 13. Could be, or could be rather 2018, 2021, when they faced off against the Yankees in the playoffs. Or maybe there's just some random game you went to, Red Sox-Yankees, that you want to share memories of. And we'd love to hear it. When we've done these types of shows, it's always really fun, especially when we get the older fans involved and they share some fun stories of their days that are prior to mine, 32 years old, born in 1993. I've obviously seen a lot of very important Red Sox-Yankees games in my lifetime. But it's always fun to hear from you guys. So, again, if you want to share that as well, 617-779-7937. So we're talking buy and sell with where this team is at right now. Do you want them to go out and be really aggressive and get a bat? Do you believe that this team still eventually can turn it around? Or are you out? Are you on the sell mode? Are you frustrated with Craig Breslow and the way he's run this team and some of the articles that have come out about the communication part of it? Where do you want to see this team go? Where do you think this team's going? Again, that's all part of it. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Zach in Hamilton. He's going to start things off. Zach, what's happening? Thanks for joining us here on Sox Talk.
Yeah, thank you guys. I think we totally have to buy at the deadline. I mean, it's the Red Sox. Like, some people are going to turn down the volume after this, but we're the Red Sox. We don't sell. I mean, we've got, when Roman Anthony comes back, we've got a powerful top four. I mean, we've got, Contreras, Abreu, Duran's been hitting really well, and then if Anthony can get back into it, that's a good four. I think we've got the best rotation in baseball, and then you have Slayton, definitely not Weissert, Slayton, Whitlock, and Chapman to lock it down. I mean, that's a playoff team. That top four and that pitching rotation and that back three that's how you win a playoff game.
Yeah, Zach, I think that's the rational thinking for the buy part of it, right? And the guys just said this too. You look at the arms that they have in the rotation, the starting pitchers that they have it's a really good group. I mean, overall, the Sox, they're ninth right now in terms of ERA as a team. You know, when it comes to the starting pitching side, it's a little bit further south than you'd think. They're actually 19th from a starting pitching perspective. But I think the whole unit is better than what that would tell you, especially with Crochet being on the shelf as long as he has been. I mean, that's been a killer that I said this with Jones and Keefe when I crossed over with them at a pregame earlier this week. You know, you came into the season, you said, okay, who are the two most important pieces to this group? This team in general. You would say Roman Anthony and Garrett Crochet. Now, is it ridiculous that a 21-year-old is in the top two in that conversation? Yes. Should they have put as much pressure on him to be the guy? Absolutely not. That shouldn't have been the case. I think we can all understand that. And I think we're all in agreement on that. But the reality is, coming into the season for a team that, despite how it's gone, you do have to at least take into consideration that all the quote-unquote smart people around baseball thought this was a playoff team. I mean, that's in part why it's such a disappointing season, is the expectations part of it, right? And we all thought that this team was going to go to the playoffs. Did they have flaws? Absolutely. I think we all thought that this group was going to struggle to hit. And that's obviously been the case. But I think in terms of the struggle to hit, I don't think we thought maybe bottom, like somewhere from 25 to 30 in terms of runs scored as an offense. I don't think we thought that. I think we thought maybe bottom three, but the hope was maybe they'd be at the very least middle of the pack and they can add a bat at the trade deadline. It's different, though, than what's ended up unfolding. All right, let's go to John in Connecticut. So we just had one caller, Zach, saying he wants to buy. John's going in the opposite direction. John, what's going on, my man?
Joe, sell. Three guys that you could get a boatload of talent for, you could sell high: Chapman, Gray, and Duran. Okay? Because next year, Duran, where's he going to be next year? The outfield is going to be Anthony and the other two, right? So right now, Duran is playing well, and I think with those three guys, you could get a boatload of talent coming in. What do you think?
I'm in agreement there. I mean, I'm in agreement. Now, the only thing with Duran, right, the Duran part of that conversation to me, as the years have gone on, as the talks have continued to be there, and by the way, we just got another text that was sort of in lockstep with our last caller there. Buying for this team would be organizational malpractice. This is the problem with keeping Breslow. He's doing this to save his job. I do really think there is that other element of this conversation that becomes really interesting / I guess scary at the same time. With the way things have gone, where the GM currently is in this run right now, under his tenure, where it's gone so south in year 3 that now he's in a position. Obviously, he's worried a little bit about job security with all the chatter around him, that he might feel the need to buy. And then will Red Sox ownership give him the opportunity to do that? But let me just say this as well on Duran. What I have found very interesting as it's related to him is, as we've talked about all this stuff, we're going to go back to the phone lines here in a second. And again, if you want to grab a line, 617-779-7937. Calls already off to a great start. What's interesting about the Duran conversation is that every time it gets floated, what continues to be the theme is that the Red Sox have a much higher view of Jarren Duran than what other teams seem to view him as. I think the only time you could have capitalized on that is with the Padres last year, who were really aggressively interested in him. But the problem was eventually is that there were injuries and you needed Duran, and then he got red hot in July. So people that wanted to trade him last year, the time point in which it felt like, okay, maybe they can, ended up becoming a situation where actually, no, we need this guy right now. The decision probably was to do it beforehand, right? Beginning of the season, and especially before this season with Duran. But I think the other catch-22 is you didn't build a good enough offense, so you felt like you needed him at some point too. Very tricky stuff. And that's where with Alex Cora and some of the criticism when he was still here about the lineup construction, he was put in a tough spot, right? And Chad Tracy with Roman Anthony being hurt, that's sort of been solved to a certain degree. But again, it's still not ideal. And if it continues to go this way and somebody's willing to actually give you the value you feel like you deserve for Duran, it probably is worth doing that. All right, let's go back to the phones. We're going to go to Kentucky and to our guy, Chad. What's happening, Chad?
What's up? What's up, guys? So I think we're definitely in buy mode. We're 3 games out of the wild card currently, 100 games left. I definitely think you really push this team because they're a really competitive team other than the games at home. So honestly, my favorite Red Sox all-time moment, Red Sox-Yankees, would have to be that series that we came all the way back from being down 3-0 to go on to win the World Series.
It's a good choice. It's forever going to be number one. I appreciate the call. And again, if you want to grab a line, 617-779-7937. Getting some really interesting comments on this buy-sell thing. I think it's a really interesting topic right now. And just going back to 2004, I think the beauty of that series from the Red Sox side of things is that this is going to live on forever. It's not a World Series that's ever going to be lost from the conscience of not only the baseball world, but the sports world. And that's what's so amazing about what happened. It's always going to be on those when trailing 3-0 graphics for the rest of our lives and for the rest of sports history. It'll never be topped. Before we take our next caller, I just quickly want to pause 10 seconds for station identification along the Shaws and Star Market WEEI Red Sox Radio Network.
From the WEEI studios, 93.7 WEEI FM and HD1, Lawrence, Boston. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, we're going to go back to the phones if we can. Let's go to, I hope I'm saying this right, Asa in Worcester. What's happening?
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Did I get the name? Wait, before you go, did I get the name right?
Yeah, you're right. Asa.
Bingo.
Some people say Asa, but I'm glad you got it right first time. Anyways, as I was saying, they need to sell. If they can't win at home, they can't win, period. I've fully given up on this team. So just sell Aroldis, sell Jarren Duran, stop waiting, just sell.
Ace, I appreciate the call. And listen, the home part of this, I really think it can't be understated, the historical context of just how bad this team has been at home. And to me, that's the scary part of if this team does end up buying in any shape or fashion. Because you look at the company, I remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I said it with Will Fleming. There was a time period from a run scored standpoint that the only 2 teams at home that they were in the same contextual picture was 2 teams from the dead ball era. It was 1919 and 1914 in terms of runs scored. I'll check that as we continue to go along here. But in terms of the win-losses, I mean, again, they are in a historical company with teams that you would really wish weren't a part of the team that they were in. It's with some of the worst teams in the history of the Boston Red Sox. 1932 and 1927 are the two teams that have only been worse. And those were two of the worst teams in the history of this franchise in terms of just the start at home, in terms of losing more games at home through the first 31 games. So 10 and 21, the Red Sox obviously are at this point at home. It has to get better, or if not, there's no way you can buy. As Will Middlebrook said earlier tonight, every good Red Sox team, pretty much every playoff team has been good at home. You take advantage of Fenway Park, the quirks of it. They haven't done that. And not only have they not done that just to even average level, it's been historically bad. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Devin in Cape Cod. What's happening, Devin? He disagrees, so this is going to be an interesting chat.
Hi.
What's happening, Devin?
It's Kevin.
Kevin. All right. Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, Cape
Kevin.
Cod. How you doing?
Kevin.
Yeah. One of my greatest memories when they came back and they were down 3 games and they came back against the Yankees, and a Yankees fan agreed to wear a pink Red Sox hat for a day if he lost, and he did lose. So that was kind of funny. And also, I think this team can pull it together this year. They got a lot of games to go. They really got to pull it together. They got to. The other game when we played and Bayo was pitching, I mean, you got to be fair to the team. The team really had nothing to do with that. It was him, that blew it for us. We were down 6-0 in the first inning.
Yeah, listen, I want to believe, but they have to turn it around. By the way, we just got some. I'm going to make sure that this is official before I do end up saying it. And again, I love hearing from everybody, and it is official. All right, so tonight's game actually has been postponed. We thought that there was going to be a path here moving forward for them to play, but it is postponed. We just got word right now that this game has been postponed. There's going to be a doubleheader August 29th. They'll play a 1 p.m. game and a 7 p.m. game on August 29th to make up this doubleheader. So tomorrow the Sox essentially go for winning 2 games in 2 games in the Bronx. But again, tonight's game between the Red Sox and the Yankees has officially been postponed, so there will be a doubleheader on August 29th. Again, there's going to be a 1 p.m. game, a 7 p.m. game, and again, there was a hope that we were going to play. It looked like at some point it was going to pass through. The question just becomes, how late do you end up waiting for it to pass through? And then, of course, there's supposed to be a quick turnaround for tomorrow's game at Yankee Stadium. So that becomes part of the issue. How late do you play into tonight before setting up the next game, which is at 1:35? I think these calls have been really fun. If we can, what I would like to do is continue to roll through them because, again, I appreciate you guys definitely sticking around, chiming in with not only the Red Sox Yankees memories, but how you feel about this team. So we'll go back to the phones. Let's go to Dave in Brighton. He wants to talk about John Henry. Dave, what's happening?
Hey, how you doing? First time, long time. Hey, John Henry's net worth is like $6 billion. I think I don't know how much of Worcester he owns, but I think, I don't know whether he's seen the pictures of people with bags over their heads at Fenway, but I think he got to sell the rights to the Red Sox and lease out Fenway Park for concerts, soccer, graduation, whatever you want, because people aren't going to go and pay big bucks to see a minor league team. They had what's his name, Kyle Schwarber. They let him walk. He was the best DH they had in years. And they've got a general manager that doesn't know anything about hitting. The pitching has been fine. But if you can't score runs, you're not going to win the game. And people aren't going to come and spend tons of money for the park and everything else, buy shirts. He's ruining the franchise. He's got his hand on too many things overseas, Roush Racing. He ought to concentrate on the Red Sox. That's what made him a fortune.
Well, and I think I appreciate the call. I think what's interesting too is I think what's just happened is compounding mistakes too. The spending part of it is a part of the conversation, right? But I also think it's the compounding mistakes of kind of what's happened here over the last 6 years, and obviously the big turning point that everybody would talk about is the Mookie Betts trade, and obviously before that you have Dave Dombrowski being fired. And then a short tenure for Chaim Bloom, which you could say he did a good job, say he didn't do a good job. There are people on both sides of the fence, and I always find that so interesting about the Chaim Bloom conversation is people are so passionate on both sides. Where the irony is, I feel like I'm kind of down the middle. They're so good, and then I think mistake contracts with Yoshida and Story. But yeah, go ahead.
All they should do, because they're probably going to have walkouts. The only people they should buy is and I know they're not going to get them the pitcher from the Dodgers or somebody like that, a big Aaron Judge, somebody that's going to be able to hit the ball out of the park.
Yes,
and they can't do that. Last night they looked like the Bad News Bears on that foul ball. Two of them couldn't catch.
No, 1,000%. You have to. I think the big picture thing that got forgotten is that you have to be able to hit to be a Red Sox team that makes the postseason. I appreciate the call. We can continue to roll through these. Just to finish out that point, I've said this many times this year, but and this is stuff you guys know, just the fact that to be a Red Sox team, you need to hit. But the historical backup stats are the fact that every playoff team of this new millennium, this new century, whatever, since 2000, all the teams were top 10 in runs scored. It's as simple a stat as you need. Top 10 in runs scored. And obviously all these teams, for the most part, played really good baseball at Fenway. Last year, that was the difference. 48-33 at Fenway. They're 10-21 this year. All right, let's go back to the phones. We're going to go to Braden in Connecticut. He is in cell mode. I'm excited to hear what he has to say. What's happening, Braden?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Brandon, not Braden.
Brandon. All right, we're trying. Listen.
Yeah.
I want to say we're doing the best we can. What's up, Brandon?
No, so I was gonna say is just I don't even think if we even go into sell mode, I don't think John Henry's gonna spend the money on the Sox. He's gonna turn around and go spend it on whatever else, or he's gonna go spend it on his soccer team. It just doesn't seem like he cares at this point, and he's just keeping the Red Sox to keep on his resume. Like he hasn't done anything great with the Sox in years. If anything, we're gonna. I was saying sell the ownership because you sell it to someone that's going to try to do something and cares, because it's just crazy. You go there, you pay all this money to go to a Red Sox game, and then you go there and just watch them get the crap kicked out of them, and then it's like, oh, yay, us,
Yeah, no, Brandon, I think I appreciate the call and the frustration from everybody. Everybody is completely valid about where this team is at. And with ownership, because the buck stops there. In any sport, the buck stops with ownership. I thought it was interesting to hear Will Fleming talk about how John Henry is at Yankee Stadium right now. And obviously we've seen him a lot this year. But I just want to finish out the previous point that I had. This organization seems to just be making compounding mistakes. Not extending Mookie Betts, even though I know they tried, but trying to go to the absolute limit to do so for a player that is a transcendent player. They trade him for three pieces that really ultimately, long-term wise, haven't worked out. They don't re-sign Xander Bogaerts. That's an interesting one because the production-wise and how much money he's making, financially probably the right decision. Now, culture-wise, that's another question because that dude was a guy that you wanted to emulate. He was a leader. He played through injuries, all those different types of things. But on the GM front, just to finish it out, you went from Dombrowski, short tenure for Chaim Bloom, and then you go to Craig Breslow, and you have Craig Breslow here as a GM because so many other candidates ended up saying no, and the search was difficult to some degree because of what the situation that person was walking into. And then they try to right the wrong of extending these young players. They do it with Christian Campbell. We've obviously seen how that's unfolded. Now, I think the Garrett Crochet extension long-term is going to work out great because that's the type of guy you do want to invest money in. Obviously hurt this year, but last year was fantastic. I think that's going to be fine. But the Brian Bale one, we've seen how that's played out so far. It was really good for a 2.5-month stretch last year, 3-month stretch last year. And now he's in Worcester. So you have two guys you've done extensions with that are in Worcester. So they're trying to right the wrong that they committed by not figuring out the extension for Betts or signing him long term. And then with Bogarts, again, that didn't get worked out to, at the time, the organization's liking, where they did actually make a substantial offer. They just got outbid by a significant amount by the Padres, but they let it get to that point. And now they've extended money to some guys that right now it doesn't look great. Bayo and Campbell. So as I said, I think it's compounding these mistakes that the organization is making. How do they fix that? And again, this year, it has been drama infested. Drama infested. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to John in North Andover. We're going to continue to roll through the rest of the calls. By the way, before we get to John, just want to mention one more time, if you missed it, the Red Sox-Yankees game has been postponed. It'll be made up August 29th. John, thanks for sticking around.
Yeah. My biggest heartbreak, I'm an older gentleman, was a 1978.
This is what I want. John, this is what I was hoping for. I love these stories. Go ahead.
The 1978 playoff game with the Yankees. We had a 2-0 lead after 6 innings. Yastrzemski hit a home run, and Jim Rice drove in a run. And Torres was pitching outstanding. Top of the 7th, there were 2 singles. Then Bucky Dent hit a 3-run homer to make it 3-2. What people forget, Bucky Dent did not have the winning hit. It was Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson hit a 2-run homer off Bob Stanley to make it 5-2. And people think it was always Bucky Dent. Reggie Jackson had the big hit because we scored 2 more runs in the bottom of the 8th to make it 5-4. And then we had first and second with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Gossage came in, and my idol, who I loved to death my whole life as a baseball fan, Kyle Yastrzemski, popped up. But that was my biggest heartbreak because those were the best 2 teams in baseball. And back then, there was no wild card. And they didn't even make the playoffs. I think the Red Sox won 99 games. They didn't make the playoffs.
No,
but that's my biggest heartbreak.
No, and that's such a good. I've actually talked to Rob Bradford about this because that was the team that he felt the most heartbreak. We had a discussion last year about the biggest what ifs in Red Sox history. For my lifetime, 03 is one that really stands out. Obviously, what happened in Game 7. Yep. And Grady Little not taking out Pedro Martinez. What I wanted to ask before we let you go, did he bring you any happiness when Bucky Dent was fired in 1990? And I believe it was at Fenway, right, when that happened?
Yeah, I can't say. I just know, and there's something else that people don't realize. Bucky Dent, the pitch prior to his home run, he hit off his ankle, and he was hobbling around for like 3 or 4 minutes, and Mike Torres was not taking warm-up pitches.
Yep.
He should have been taking warm-up pitches.
Yep.
He wasn't taking warm-up pitches. The next pitch is in the spring. That's my biggest heartbreak was they were so good,
Yes. No, they were. It was an incredible team, and it just that was the case. Obviously, back in those days where it was you get it, 2 teams per league, and so in today's day and age,
not to interrupt you, but they beat the Royals in 4 games.
Yep.
Then they beat the Dodgers in 6. So they breezed through the playoffs after that game. It was obvious the Red Sox were the second best team and got nothing by.
But it was such a close game. I mean, and yeah, I've watched the highlights from that, and there were so many moments that could have went one way or the other. I know Lou Piniella made a great play in the outfield that it could have.
It's amazing. Freddie Lynn hit that ball. I don't know how he's seen it.
Yep.
In the sun.
Yep. He somehow last minute stabs at it. I've seen it all. Yeah. What a crazy game. John, I appreciate the time. Thanks for calling in. All righty. Let's again. We're going to continue to roll through the rest of these. Again, and just I keep wanting to say it. Just for the folks that are tuning in, they were hoping to tune into Red Sox baseball tonight. Tonight's game at Yankee Stadium has been postponed. It will be made up August 29th. It'll be a 1 p.m. and a 7 p.m. game. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Noah in Portland. No, what's happening?
Hello. Hey, I just wanted to share what my favorite Red Sox Yankees moment was. That's Game 6 in 2004, where Alex Rodriguez slaps the glove out of Bronson Arroyo's hand because he is so desperate to make it on base, and then stands at second with his hands over his head like a child who got in trouble.
That day. I mean, that day was something. You know what's crazy about that game too? And I had forgotten this until recently, that it was a game that it actually similar to today. There was rain, but this was obviously at Fenway, and the Yankees, they were on. I think they were ready to leave, but then the Red Sox as a team really wanted to play, so they ended up playing that game. But just think about if that game was postponed, and that all.
Gosh.
Yeah.
There's no way. Hey, and the other thing I wanted to comment on is when we're talking about Chaim Bloom, one thing to keep note of is he's really been great for the Red Sox as he's worked for St. Louis with Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras in the offseason. I give him credit for that.
Yeah, listen, I think there's a good GM in there, one that was probably better than the one here in Boston. I think there are people that are really hard on Chaim Bloom, and the tough hand he was dealt, where he was given a task of building up the farm system, having to trade away Mookie Betts, and people are really harsh on it. But then there are people that will back every part of it, and I think in some ways sort of downplay some of the mistakes that were made, like giving Yoshida the contract that he did. That I'll never forget, the Kylie McDaniel article that came out right after the fact, where it was crapped on, and people around baseball that they gave him too much money, and obviously he hasn't been up to that. He's played up to the standard of the contract by and large. And Trevor Story, same thing. It hasn't worked out the way we'd hoped here in Boston. Obviously last year a good season, but hurt again this season. Let's go back to Ben in Hanover before we had a buy or sell argument about what this team should do. And Ben, he's up next year on Sox Talk. What's happening, Ben? Ben, you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, what's happening, Ben?
Hey, I just wanted to tune in on this whole Red Sox Yankees talk. I mean, I'm a younger fan, and I was getting ready to watch the game tonight. A little glad that we don't have to watch the game tonight, and I just wanted to tune in on the whole buy sell. It doesn't matter what we do in the long run. John Henry's never going to give the money. You know, we've had luxuries like Chapman, we have Crochet, and I hate to see those guys go to waste, because I mean, it's a matter of a few $1 million of keeping Bregman, keeping Betts, like you guys were talking about earlier. So it's just disappointing going to the games nowadays. I went when they were down 6-0 in the first inning when Bell finally got over the hump of having a closer start for him. So, I mean, just seeing this loyal fan base, seeing Fenway sports groups trying to maximize their money without just putting a good enough product for people to watch. It's sad. It's a fan base that's a historical fan base that'll stay around, and we're just watching a bad product trying to compete in a crappy AL league. So I say sell the whole team, not even just. I think many are on board with that, but I just really wanted to voice my opinion on this matter.
Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. This is the forum to do it. I really appreciate you chiming in. And I think if you ask me, where do I stand on the buy or sell argument, I'm leaning toward sell, because there have been little moments throughout the season where you think, okay, this team is turning it around. Maybe this is where the run starts. It hasn't happened. The thing that is really keeping the Sox in the quote-unquote buy conversation is just the state of the American League. The Sox are 3.5 games out, coming in action today in the wild card race. But we know this team isn't good. Is it worth buying in this terrible American League just to sneak into a wild card spot when you still know the team isn't that good and isn't a World Series contender? I mean, that's the question that we're asking. But I'm more on the sell standpoint. If they're going to buy, they have to do it now or very soon. Because with more games under the belt, whatever it is, it just becomes an unequivocal, yeah, this team should sell. I think we're probably there already, but we're still in a time frame where we can have the conversation and you wouldn't be completely laughed out of the building. Let's go back to the phones. We're going to go to Steve in Greencastle, Pennsylvania. What's happening, Steve?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm calling. I'm a positive guy. I don't believe we should be selling.
I want to keep Aroldis. I want to keep Sonny Gray. We've had these experiences with Andre Beltry and everything else, and we got rid of these great guys. Michael Waka is another one that comes to mind. We'll have a young team. It's gelling before our eyes. It is better than what it was at the beginning of the season. They're still having their struggles. If we can't, I'm not necessarily saying go spend gazillions overpaying for a right-handed bat, but I will float the idea. Justin Turner is having a great season in the Mexican League. I know he's 41, but a 1-year minimum deal. He's batting 301, 5 homers. OPS is, I think, in the 900s. He brings leadership.
Wait, Justin, we're talking Justin
Turner? Why not give him a 1-year minimum?
We're talking Justin Turner.
Yes, sir.
Who is playing is this the right, the Tijuana Toro?
Yes.
And he's the solution here to the offense?
It's not an end-all. I'm saying if we don't want to spend gazillions, he brings leadership, and he's having a great year. You know, everyone thinks Aroldis should be over and done at 38. Look what he's accomplishing. Being a person who's 69, I don't think age necessarily defines the guy. The guy's having a great year. Big Papi was getting on there, and look what he accomplished before his feet gave out.
I think
I'm saying if you want leadership, you want a bat who obviously is still hitting, and he can play at various spots in the infield. He's a cheap 1-year base deal to just say, hey, let's give it as an experiment and see if that helps.
I think what's more likely is that I grow Justin Turner's beard than the Red Sox signing Justin Turner. I'm as baby faced as they come. I didn't expect Sox talk to end with a Justin Turner suggestion, but hey, listen, man, we asked for you guys to chime in when we were in the delay before it officially got postponed. You got your money's worth, and it was awesome talking to all you guys here on Sox Talk. Again, just letting you know the news from tonight. No game tonight at Yankee Stadium. It has been postponed. It will be made up August 29th, a 1 p.m., 7 p.m. doubleheader. And one of the reasons that they ultimately banged it is because there is a 1:35 game tomorrow. So obviously you wait this one out and possibly could be till the later hours of the night. And then you play deep into the night. It'd be a quick turnaround for tomorrow. So a decision has been made. So tonight's game has been postponed. And I feel pretty comfortable saying the Red Sox will not be signing Justin Turner as well. It's been really fun talking to you guys, though. I appreciate everybody chiming in on Sox Talk. Big thank you to Tristan, Andrew, Zach Coe leading the operation behind the glass. Appreciate both of these guys. And again, tonight's game has been postponed, Red Sox, Yankees. But tomorrow, the Red Sox will try to take another against New York. Remember, Boston won last night, so they have a chance to take 2 of 2 at Yankee Stadium. But tonight's game officially washed out. Thank you for chiming in on Sox Talk, and thank you for listening along the Shaws and Star Market, WEEI Red Sox Radio Network. This is Joe Wiles saying adios here from the WEEI Red Sox studios.
You have been listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Shaws and Star Market WEEI Red Sox Radio Network. The Red Sox on WEEI are brought to you by Shaws and Star Market, the official supermarket of the Red Sox Radio Network. Citgo. Download the Club Citgo app now and instantly save 23 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. Subaru of New England. Don't miss the Subaru of New England A Lot to Love event.
23-year-old Clay Buchholz has no-hit the Baltimore Orioles.
Nissan. Shop your local Nissan store and NissanUSA.com. Arbella. Here for good. Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Ford Trucks, official truck of the Boston Red Sox. Sponsored by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. 110 Grill. Visit any of their 33 locations all throughout New England. McFarland Energy, the region's most dependable provider of home heating oil delivery, as well as expert HVAC services.
Way back by the wall! Off the wall, the Red Sox win!
Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers, Boston's go-to injury attorney for over 30 years. TimberTech Decking and Railing. Everything wood should be. Visit timbertech.com. Dig Safe. Click digsafe.com or call 811 before you dig.
Way back! Grand slam!
Interlock Metal Roofing. Visit newenglandmetalroofing.com and never re-roof again. North Shore Adult Diapers. For even the heaviest control problems, visit northshore.com. Veterinary Emergency Group. Sponsored by Veg. ER for Pets. The official emergency veterinarian group of Red Sox Radio.
This broadcast was presented by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only.
WEEI. New England Sports Original.
Who's going to start?
I think, speaking of fast breaks, brother, I think one of the things that we're seeing is we know when you watch San Antonio play, we guess they are fatigued because they played the 7-game war with Oklahoma City, and the Knicks are so rested. It feels like every time New York gets the ball, they get out and they run, and they're trying to speed this game up, get to gas, I guess, San Antonio.
That was San Antonio from the first game. I didn't really see the second game, but the first game, San Antonio was on the fast break like the road runner half of the time. I was like, these guys can't do nothing but do the fast break from what I've seen from San Antonio. But for the most part, it's going to be a beautiful thing in New York, man. We got to get there. And you know what? The government needs to regulate stuff like this. You cannot charge that many tickets to the regular people who have supported the New York Knicks. How dare you run up those prices like that to these regular people that have supported the New York Knicks? The government needs to take charge. I don't expect Trump to do it, but other people in the government.
They elected their people are loving their. Hey, thank you for calling, man. People are loving their new mayor over there in New York City. Maybe that dude Mandami can do something about it. But then again, it's capitalism, man. Who wants to pay? Whoever will pay 10,000. You get you. Yeah, I know. Listen. I agree with you, but. Hey. If somebody has it, and thank you for calling, brother. I got to move on. But if somebody has $10,000 and I've got a pair of tickets, and someone wants to give me $10,000 and I paid $800 for those, now I just made a $9,200 profit. I'm going to put food on my kid's plate. I'm going to pay for the mortgage, whatever it is. I'm going to hookers and blow, whatever I want to do with my $9,000. Appreciate you calling, man. Got a text here from Chuck in Alabama. He writes, the series is over. Knicks sweep experience, men playing against boys. I don't want it to be a sweep, but it feels that way. I want a 7-game series because I want to watch more NBA basketball. I don't want it to go away. Let's go to Mark, who's down in South Beach in Miami. Mark, thanks for calling, man. You're on Westwood One Sports.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yo, what do you think of this series so far?
So far, completely opposite of what I predicted. Although I did say Spurs in 7, so even though this is not ideal, people are way too overreacting. I mean, the Spurs are still a damn good team. I know last night was a debacle. Don't know why Mitch Johnson didn't call a timeout. Don't want to have Wemby with the ball in his hands at this point. I want the ball in Castle or Fox's hands. Inexcusable to make that pass when Castle's not even looking at you. And then, obviously, he had a good shot. I think they drew up a good play. That's a shot he makes all the time, that little jumper from the middle range. So I give credit to the Knicks. They're playing just incredible basketball, 13 straight wins. Nobody could have foresaw them when they were down 2-1 to Atlanta. Everything's just playing well. And not just Brunson. It's Cavs, Bridges, Hart. The bench, Shamet is the best. He can't miss. He's like Curry from the three-point line. So,
seriously, he is, man. He's insane.
Yeah, I know. Everything's working well for them, but I'm not going to count out the Spurs. I mean, they went into OKC, which is the toughest place in the road to win, and won a Game 7. So I know they gagged away Game 1 and Game 2. They had double-digit leads, and they blew actually, last night they rallied from double digits and should have won the game until they debacled in that last minute. But this Spurs team is still a damn good team, and I know it's going to be nuts and completely bonkers in a madhouse in Madison Square Garden in games 3 and 4, but I think the Knicks can regroup and steal one or if not two games. So I'm not going to count them out because they're just too damn good. They've got too many elite young talents, and even though the Knicks are rolling, I still think the Spurs are going to make this a series. I'm not going to be shocked if they win even both games, even though it is unrealistic as a lot of people think it is, claiming it's going to be a sweep. I don't see that. I think they're going to come out completely. I think Wemby's going to come out alien mode game 3 and 4 and try to get this back to San Antonio tied 2-2. But it's not going to be easy, man, because it's going to be complete bonkers in that house.
I mean, I think, and thank you for calling down there, Mark. Appreciate you there in Miami. I think you are exactly right. I think the environment tomorrow, or Monday, I should say, because they got 2 off days, today and tomorrow. So game 3 is Monday night. It goes Monday, what is it, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday? Is that right? Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday of next week. I just think that game tomorrow on Monday night, that crowd, it's going to be unlike anything Wembanyama and Castle and Vassell have ever seen in their life. When you play at Madison Square Garden, there's just something different. And OKC's got a great home court advantage, and the Warriors have a great home court advantage. But when the Garden is rocking, it's unlike anything in sports. Unlike absolutely anything in sports. Thank you for calling. That opens up a line for you. You want to jump in? Your thoughts on the first 2 games? God, I've been so wrong about this series. I want to say the Spurs get game 3, which would make game 4 insane, because imagine if San Antonio gets 2 and we get to go back to San Antonio, and now it's a 2 out of 3. That would be, I would like, I know Knicks fan, you don't want that. And I'm not a Spurs fan, but I'm a basketball fan. And the 7-game series between the Thunder and Spurs was fantastic. And very, very rarely do series and sporting events always live up to the billing. That one did. That one absolutely did. And I want this series to go 7 games, but I don't think it's gonna. Here's a texter. Oh, this is straight up rude. Stuart, you'd have to send me this one. Atlanta sending in a text. The Knicks had Wemby looking like Wicket, like me? In your senior rec league game at the Y, he was so rattled. Listen, I used to work in Milwaukee, all right? On one of our affiliates, 105.7 and 1250 The Fan up there in the Brew City. I love Milwaukee. And the Milwaukee Bucks used to host, I don't know if they still do or not, but the Bucks used to host a media game where all the members of the Milwaukee media, Wisconsin media, would come in and play. And I was the first pick in the draft. And I suck at basketball. Okay, but I wanted to play. Like, I played as a kid, but I didn't play in high school. I didn't go to college and play. But I was like a rec league guy. And I set the Bucks media game record for most shots taken without a make. All right, Stuart?
Oh.
I set the Bucks record for the most shots to 0 for 6. All right. I mean, I was missing jumpers. I was missing layups. There's a great picture of me in like the 2008 or 2009 Bucks media guide in the back part where they like highlight the media of me going up for a finger roll, but I completely missed. Yeah, all the hype. I don't think Wemby looked that bad. All right. I mean, what did Wemby have last night? What was he? Pull this up. Wemby was he had 29 and 9 last night. Yeah, he had 29 points. It's not like he wasn't 0 for 6 like me in the Bucks media game. All right. Other side, we are going to hit the Browns and the Rams. The biggest story in sports that's not the NBA Finals. And frankly, it might be a bigger story than the NBA Finals. Myles Garrett to the Super Bowl favorites, who were already the Super Bowl favorites. We're going to hear from the Browns side of this as well. We'll get that next to you here on Westwood One Sports.
The University of Texas has won the Women's College World Series, sweeping Texas Tech in the Championship Series. It's the Longhorns' second title in program history, having now won back-to-back years. Westwood One Sports.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Now that Wendy's has these new biggie deals, everyone in the family can get what they're craving, from nugs to JBCs. The parental units can get an $8 biggie bundle, the eldest who think they're so grown can get a $6 biggie bag, and the little one who can do no wrong can get a $4 biggie bites. You know, assuming they have a credit card. No, I'm kidding. We take cash too. 4, 6, and $8 biggie deals for the whole family. Only at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
Yo, it's Jay Uso from WWE, and I'm Jimmy Uso. Chumba Casino and WWE are hyped for the biggest event of the summer, SummerSlam. I know, I can't wait. There's nothing better to do while we're waiting than playing Chumba Casino. Sign up today and you could win a VIP experience with Chumba Casino and WWE for SummerSlam. So what are you waiting for? Play Chumba Casino and enter for your chance to win. Let's Chumba. Yeah.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Now more people than ever can bring in their bill for a better deal at Verizon. Got AT&T or T-Mobile? We got you. Xfinity or Spectrum? You too. So tell your friends, your family, your quirky neighbor Jeff. Grab your megaphone and yell it from the rooftop. Get a better deal at Verizon. Because chances are anyone in shouting distance is included. Bring in your AT&T, T-Mobile, Xfinity, or Spectrum bill, and we'll give you a better deal on the best network. Come by Verizon today. Best network based on root metrics, best overall mobile network performance, U.S. second half 2025. All rights reserved. Must provide recent consumer mobile bill and the name of the person redeeming the deal. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
I wake up.
The all-new Amazon Ember Art line with Fire TV. Choose from 10 custom frames and over 2,000 free works of museum-quality art. Or display your own personal photos, all on a matte screen designed to look like the real thing. Brilliant 4K QLED immerses you in every moment, while Alexa Plus makes finding your next watch effortless. Find the perfect balance between art and entertainment. The Amazon Ember Art line with Fire TV. It's not just a smart TV, it's an art TV. Separate subscriptions may be required. Viewing experience is subjective and may vary with content.
Since 1961, New Englanders have trusted one name to protect their homes and businesses: Warwick Tree Service. We blend 6 decades of experience with cutting-edge technology to handle even the most hazardous or hard-to-reach trees with surgical precision and minimal disruption. Our licensed arborists don't just remove trees, we provide the expert care and peace of mind that only comes from years in the field. Don't wait for the next storm. Visit warwicktree.com to schedule your free tree service assessment today. Warwick Tree Service. Safe, efficient, proven since 1961.
1500. Call Coast One now. A 10-minute call can save you up to 93% on your back taxes. Get your fresh start today. That's 800-242-3186.
Sponsored by Coast One Financial Group.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Once I completed rehab, my mom applied for a Canine Companion service dog. Last January, I finally got to meet my service dog, Marcia. We quickly developed a very strong bond. Together, we go to my horseback riding lessons, school band practice, swim meets, and archery classes. Together, we pick vegetables, and we like to cut flowers. I love Marcia. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. I can't imagine life without her. She's a part of the family. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. With your help, we can continue for another 50. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Furnished by IntelliBrands. Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Get an Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact. Improve your flexibility and balance. Strengthen and tone your legs.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better, and it makes me feel stronger too.
My circulation is moving. I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
It's so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. And for a limited time, get a free upgrade to our deluxe bundle with a faster motor, sport mat, and wireless remote. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
WEEI. WEEI.
Download the Odyssey app and listen on demand anytime.
Boston Sports Original. WEEI.
It's Westwood One Sports Night with Mike Wickett.
Quick note before we get to the Myles Garrett trade. The New York Knicks tweeted this out about an hour ago. As we move closer to Game 3 of the NBA Finals on Monday night, Madison Square Garden and the United States Secret Service want to help ensure a safe and enjoyable experience for all ticket holders by sharing important security procedures that will be in place. This is important if you're going to spend $10,000 to go sit up high at the Garden on Monday night. A strict no bag policy, not a clear bag policy. A no bag policy will be in effect, and fans should make every effort to limit personal items to an absolute minimum. Fans should expect enhanced security measures when entering Madison Square Garden, including TSA-style screening procedures. So you get to go to the airport when you go to the Garden. Guests are strongly encouraged to arrive 2 hours before tip-off to allow additional time for screening and entry. Fans are encouraged to review the complete list of prohibited items before arriving at Madison Square Garden. There will be no storage available for prohibited items brought to the venue. So if you know a Knicks fan that's going to the game or a Spurs fan, no bags. This, of course, because President Trump will be in the Garden for Game 3 on Monday night. 2 hours, no bags, and just costing you $10,000 to get in. Minimum. Still unbelievable to me. All right. So even with the NBA Finals going on, even with the Stanley Cup Finals going on, the biggest story of the entire week, I don't know what you were doing. I was driving around. My phone starts buzzing. It's my buddies on the football chat that I've got here in my neighborhood with my guys. Myles Garrett, the reigning, the current NFL Defensive Player of the Year, a guy who just had 22 sacks or whatever it was for a bad Cleveland Browns team, goes from the outhouse to the penthouse, from one of the worst organizations in all of sports, the Cleveland Browns, to one of the best organizations in all of sports, the Los Angeles Rams. Les Snead gave up Jared Verse, a first-round pick next year, a second-round pick in 2028, and a third-round pick in 2029 for the services of Myles Garrett. Monday Morning Quarterback's Albert Breer about when this trade actually was starting and when this deal got done.
The Rams' persistence is like a huge part of it. Like they initially called the Browns. This is going to sound crazy at the trade deadline in 2022. That was the first conversation the Rams had with the Browns.
2022? Did you see the right year there?
Wow. Yeah. And so it's wild, right? Like, but that was the first time that conversation happened. And then, this time around, they just kind of kept chipping away at it. So that's a huge part of it.
2022. It's the Rich Eisen show with the audio for us. And they did not. Look, the Browns know how good Myles Garrett is. They drafted him. He's become a part of that community. He's one of the great Browns in the history of that very famous organization. And they didn't trade him with like, oh yeah, you want him, you can have him.
Miles Garrett got back from Japan and Korea, I believe, on May 26th. And that was all like preordained, right? And by then, the Browns were ready to communicate to Miles what was going on. And so at that point, it's basically like, if this train is moving down the tracks, there's no sense in you showing up to this week of OTAs. And so he was on a pre-scheduled trip, which was what he was planning on doing, and that train is coming down the tracks. They communicated with him. Miles flew to Cleveland on Friday and sat down with Andrew Barry and Jimmy Haslam on Saturday, where they informed him of they didn't inform him of the trade. They'd already informed him of what was going on, but they had, one last meeting, and it was very amicable. Look, I mean, I think the people inside the Browns organization, they view this as trading a Jim Brown or an Otto Graham.
Yeah, you think about the greatest Browns of all time. This guy's the best since Jim Brown. Like the greatest Cleveland Brown since Jim Brown, right? There's no, like, who else, what are you gonna put in there? They had the big tackle. I'm telling you, the people in Cleveland, like Cleveland fan, and you can jump in if you're a Cleveland fan, 310-840-4910. Talk about it from your side. You understand how this works. You know you weren't going to win anything with Myles Garrett. It's kind of like the way the Bucks are dealing with Giannis right now. One of the greatest players in the history of the franchise, and your team has no chance at a title. So you might as well start your rebuild again, another again. And that's exactly what Albert Breer, Monday morning quarterback, says this does. It gets that rebuild moving.
They've been talking since right after the draft. The Browns had said throughout the offseason that they did not intend to trade Myles Garrett, but it never sounded as firm as it was a year ago when they were flatly refusing to even engage here. So there really was not another team that emerged through the process. I would say about 72 hours ago, it seemed like this deal was going to get done. The Browns were not going to do it unless they got Jared Verse as part of the deal. He's a two-time Pro Bowler who's under team control for several more years at a relatively cheap rate, which allows them to get younger at a core position, get a Pro Bowl caliber player who's not making as much money as Myles Garrett. And then in addition to that, they get a 2027 first rounder, a 2028 second rounder, and a 2029 third rounder. So extra day two compensation in 28 and 29, an extra first in 2027, which you can certainly do all the math on that. A highly regarded draft, particularly for quarterbacks. And now the Browns, who are rolling into 2026 with Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, potentially are going to have the ammunition to go and get one in 2027.
That's Tom Pelissaro. Back to Albert Breer talking about that rebuild, including having that ammunition to move up in next year's QB heavy draft.
I think there was a pivot there 13 months ago with the Travis Hunter trade. And the core that Myles Garrett came up with and the guys that he went to the playoffs with, that core had aged out and they needed to get younger. And the Deshaun Watson trade had taken such a chunk out of their ability to build youth into the roster that they just needed to get volume of picks to get younger across the board. So they trade the pick that became Travis Hunter. And last year, they put together what I think is a really good rookie class. And then as a result of the trade, they have 3 top 40 picks this year. They turned those into Spencer Fano at tackle and 2 receivers. They've now set this up where you've got like this group of 22, 23-year-olds. And I think you have to ask the question is like, where's Myles Garrett going to be at? What's his trade value going to be when these guys all come of age? And when we have our young quarterback, whoever that winds up being, whether it's Shedeur or somebody else in place.
And you got to
pay him. That doesn't happen until 28. Now, are we on the back end with Myles?
I think, too, when you get the second-round pick and the third-round pick in 28 and in 29, that was smart. Like, you get your first-round pick next year. You might use it to move up to take fill-in-the-blank quarterback, whoever it is you want. And then let's say that the Rams, who are now the favorite, have always been the favorite, even as soon as the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. But let's say that the Rams do win the Super Bowl this year. I think we all would expect maybe that opens the door for Matt Stafford to retire. He'll have the MVP. He'll have 2 Super Bowls, 1 million passing yards. He will have had success statistically with 2 teams, but obviously a lot more team success in L.A. than he had when he was a Lion. And you know that Ty Simpson will take over. Like, that's the kid they took this year at 13. So assuming that, let's just say, play it out with me, the Rams win the Super Bowl this year. L.A. goes crazy. At their home stadium, by the way, because the Super Bowl this year is at SoFi. In 2027, I would not expect the Rams to be very good with Ty Simpson at quarterback. It's like when they won a Super Bowl and they got real bad for a year, but they rebuilt it really, really quick. That bad year, that second-round pick, instead of being at the back end of the second round, and that third-round pick the following year, those might be way more valuable, assuming that Matt Stafford is not around. The further away you can get from the Matt Stafford era, the better the picks that will become until we find out if Ty Simpson can play. Because we have no idea. We have no clue if Ty Simpson's going to be a good NFL player. The Rams think he is. Took him 13th. Took him 13th. So yeah, it's amazing that this happened this week. It is absolutely amazing that it did go down this week. It's just hard to even fathom that it would go down this week. Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Cleveland Browns.
So I'll be honest, I did not have this press conference on my bingo card for this spring. I know you all have heard me say for a number of years at this point that, Myles Garrett, he's a foundational player, Hall of Fame worthy, and a homegrown talent that's been here for the decades. And our intent was to have him be a one-helmet player for his career. And that was the truth. And even to this day, when Miles's, career is over, we look forward to welcoming him back, into the organization. But there are moments, particularly in my job, where opportunities come up that, quite honestly, are unexpected. And they force you to stop and reevaluate and look at it and say, hey, is this something that could be, really beneficial to the team?
Yeah, and I think it makes absolute sense for both sides. You get, and we're going to talk more and hear from Jared Verse, but you get Verse, who's I don't want to say a younger version of Myles Garrett, but he's a 24-year-old pass rusher, two-time Pro Bowler, former defensive rookie of the year. You get a first-round pick. So you got 2 1s plus a 2 plus a 3 for a 31-year-old pass rusher who was the best defensive player in the year last year, won the MVP or the Defensive Player of the Year award. So the rebuild is on, the all-in is on. I don't know if there's a winner in this trade, and maybe we'll have to wait a couple of years to find out. To the phones we go, and we got some Browns fans on the line. I love that. Joe is in Ohio. Joe, thanks for calling, man. How you feeling this week after Myles Garrett gets traded?
Man, I had mixed emotions coming into it, but after it's been almost a week going into it, I feel good about it because I feel happy for Myles, man. He's been such a great player for us, such a stand-up guy in the community. He's done so much for us, and he's always put that jersey on and went out there, gave 100%, and he did what he did, and he did it great in a Browns jersey. So I'm glad he's got the opportunity to go out and get a Super Bowl, and I hope Andrew Berry just hits on our pick.
And he's been pretty good drafting. Like the Travis Hunter trade got you some extra pieces. I like their draft this year. Like they get the Fano kid. Like they've done. Now we don't know how those are going to pan out, Joe, but I like their pick so far.
Right, and I was down on Andrew Berry at first. I was like, for the last year, I was down on him. Like, man, all the kickers he took in the third and fourth rounds that aren't even in the league anymore. The Austin Seiberts and all those guys. So I was down on him for a while. But these last 2 drafts, they've changed my mind on him. But this is what I say as a Browns fan. I think we can really hit on this trade if Shedeur Sanders pans out to be something more than just a 5th-round pick. If he becomes our quarterback of the future, those picks that we got from next year and the future on, we can use those for other assets and then for the team other than trying to put picks together to get quarterbacks. We can get more in rushers, more cornerbacks, more.
And the only way to figure that out is to not start Deshaun Watson. Give Shedeur, give Deshaun the ball. Give Deshaun the ball, man.
Man, no, man. I am so over the Deshaun Watson here, man. I don't even know why they're talking about that.
Let Shedeur start. Why are they even? Why are they contemplating giving Deshaun Watson the football? Give Shedeur the damn ball, man.
Yes, man. Let that boy cook. He goes out there and shows you what he can do. Now you get him in line next year. You got those running backs. Quinshon Judkins come back.
Yeah,
man, that team can be something, man. With Fano, a second year, Fano with another year under his belt. Those guys can really do something and cook, man. I just want them to do that. I think Shedeur is our answer. With him being our answer, man, to get those picks, we will go a whole new level. It'll be another year or two. We'll be playing the Super Bowl in our stadium when we get that dome built in 30.
Joe,
down in Cleveland.
Joe, thank you for calling. Now, it's Browns in the Super Bowl. All right, let's all pump the brakes.
Thank you.
Thank you, man, for
I know
calling.
it wasn't that. Those are what they call them, the rainbows and dreams everywhere.
Oh, yeah, sunshine and rainbows. I like your optimism. I like it. Joe, have a good one, man. Thank you for getting in. There is no benefit for the Browns to start Deshaun Watson. There's no benefit whatsoever. Start Shador. Find out what you got. Let Monken work with him. If he's no good, then you draft somebody. But if Shador can play, Joe's right. Now you got a couple of ones next year. We'll get to more of your calls. Brad, you're on deck. Stick right there. We're talking more Browns, Rams, Myles Garrett with you next. You're on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.
Power your drive with Mobil 1 Motor Oil. Buy 5 quarts, get $15 back, and score a fast and furious prize after rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wendy's new Biggie Deals lets you choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's like a music mixing board of deals, and you're the producer. Go with some chill folk music with a JBC in the $4 Biggie Bite snack. Try the drum and bass of deals with a double stack in the $6 Biggie Bag. Or go full-on sandwich symphony with an $8 Biggie Bundle, the grand finale of snacking. And the best part? They all come with napkins. $4, $6, and $8 Biggie Deals how you want them. At Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii. Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
I wake up.
Since 1961, New Englanders have trusted one name to protect their homes and businesses: Warwick Tree Service. We blend 6 decades of experience with cutting-edge technology to handle even the most hazardous or hard-to-reach trees with surgical precision and minimal disruption. Our licensed arborists don't just remove trees. We provide the expert care and peace of mind that only comes from years in the field. Don't wait for the next storm. Visit warwicktree.com to schedule your free tree service assessment today. Warwick Tree Service. Safe, efficient, proven since 1961.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them, that's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
At Verbo, we understand that even the best of plans sometimes need a little support. So we plan for the plot twists. Every booking is automatically backed by our Verbo Care Guarantee, giving you confidence from the very start. Whenever you need help, it's ready. Before your stay, through the moments in between, and after your trip. Because a great trip starts with peace of mind. And maybe a good playlist. But we've got the peace of mind part covered.
591.32.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Call 1-800-598-6439. That's 1-800-598-6439. Or visit plexiderm.com/trial. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Furnished by IntelliBrands. Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Get an Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact. Improve your flexibility and balance. Strengthen and tone your legs.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better, and it makes me feel stronger too.
My circulation is moving. I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
It's so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. And for a limited time, get a free upgrade to our deluxe bundle with a faster motor, sport mat, and wireless remote. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Broadcasting from the WEEI studios, 93.7 WEEI-FM and HD1, Lawrence, Boston, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Get. On a Saturday night, thanks for being a part of the show. You can always jump in. You can call or text 310-840-4910, talking about the Browns and the Rams and the Myles Garrett trade. I don't know what you were doing. I was driving around on a Tuesday, and I'm like, why is my phone buzzing? Myles Garrett, the Defensive Player of the Year, goes from the Browns to the Los Angeles Rams, who were, I think, like plus 750 or plus 800 to win the Super Bowl a week ago. And I think I saw their odds are down to plus 500 or plus 550 now since the trade. I mean, that's a hell of a percentage swing, by the way. To go from like plus 850 to plus 550. That's how good this dude is. That's how good he's going to make the defense, which was already a pretty good defense. And by the way, shout out to the Rams, who are like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and bring in Myles Garrett, Trent McDuffie, and Jalen Watson. We got to add 2 corners and the best defensive player in football last year. And that you're going to have to deal with it. And I still don't understand how they have cap space to do these things. But I'm not a capologist. The Rams have their own capologist. They gave Matthew Stafford an extension. They still got to pay Puka Nacua at some point. The Rams, they do good stuff with their books, man. They absolutely do. You can jump in again, 310-840-4910. As the Browns send away one of the great players in the history of their franchise to the Rams. Their head coach, Todd Monken.
Not at any given point that I think we were going to trade Myles. And that's just the nature of what we do. I mean, this is pro sports, right? It's you're always trying to look to the present and then to the future. So I was excited then, and I'm excited now. He's an elite football player. We all know that. I mean, to say that, Jared, just be you. I mean, I see his track ascending. I just do. I just see a world of upside by the way he's wired. We're jacked to have him.
Yeah, and you should be. By the way, that's the thing. Like, I see so many people, he's speaking about Jared Verse. That's the thing people don't seem to know or don't seem to get. This trade does not happen unless Jared Verse is part of the package. Because you're not going to get a Jared Verse at, presumably, the back of the 2027 or 2028 draft. Jared Verse is great. He's on an ascension to be, and I'm not going to say he's on an ascension to be Myles Garrett. But Jared Verse is great. Defensive Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. Didn't have as many sacks his second year. We only had 4 or 4.5 last year, whatever it was. But Jared Verse is great. The Browns got back more for Myles Garrett than what the Cowboys got for Micah Parsons. The Packers sent 2 ones and Kenny Clark. And Kenny Clark is a 30-year-old defensive tackle. Jared Verse is a 24-year-old edge rusher. And not only did that, so there's your 2 ones, Verse and the 1. And then you get a second and you get a third on top of it. The Browns didn't fleece anybody on that side. But the Browns got really good value. And the Rams got the reigning defensive player of the year, added to an already stacked lineup that is going to contend. But make no mistake, Browns fan, maybe you didn't watch a lot of Rams football. Maybe you never heard the name Jared Verse before. Jared Verse, a really, really good player. and he met the media, and he had this answer when he was asked about the reaction of being traded to Cleveland.
Upset, and I was upset for a good little bit of time. But when you're an athlete, you understand the nature of business. I'm happy to be a part of the Browns. I'm happy that they believed in me and they were able to make that trade and bring me here. But it was upsetting at first. But you got two choices: that you can either work or you can give up. And I ain't never been a quitter. My job is to be the best me. If I'm the best me, I'm not going to be Myles Garrett. I'm not going to be Max Crosby, this guy, that guy, the best players in the league. I'm going to be the best Jared, and that's going to be the best player in the league.
And he's great. I'm telling you. What do you have? 7.5 sacks last year. Again, defensive rookie of the year. You're getting a really, really good player in Jared Verse. And I hope Browns fans do understand that. Now, he's got some big shoes. He's always going to be compared to Myles Garrett, and that's probably not fair. But Browns fans, to be honest, I feel confident saying this. Josh, make sure you mark the tape here, all right? You're not going to get 22.5 sacks out of Jared Verse this year. Okay? What Myles Garrett has done is freakish. It's uncanny. He's a mutant. He's an alien. But Jared Verse is expected to step into those shoes, and fairly or unfairly, he's going to be compared to Myles Garrett.
Myles is a great player. I watch his film every day. I've, keyed in on a couple things he does, the moves he makes, the technicalities of every small aspect of his game. I've very much studied him, and to know that, I'm not here to fill his shoes. That's not my job. That's not in my description in any organization I go to. That's not my job. My job is to be the best me. If I'm the best me, I'm not going to be, Myles Garrett. I'm not going to be Max Crosby, this guy, that guy, the best players in the league. I'm going to be the best Jared, and that's going to be the best player in the league.
Did you know he was born in Ohio? I didn't know that. Jared Verse was born in Dayton, Ohio, and grew up in Pennsylvania. So he may have gone to college at Florida, may have been drafted by Los Angeles. This is a guy who's familiar with that part of the country. This is a guy who, even the cold weather's not going to scare him. He played in plenty of it when he was at Albany. Did you know he was at Albany? He was a Great Dane. Then he went to Florida State, two-time All-American with the Knolls, taken by the Rams, who were all in on him. He was the defensive rookie of the year. You're getting a great player. And if Andrew Berry can put together some good picks, some good drafts, I think most people are giving him 2 thumbs up in the last 2 drafts. But you got to get the quarterback right if you want to win. We all know that. And as the caller who we just had on right before the break, as the caller said, give the ball to Shedeur. Give the ball to Shedeur Sanders. I'm not saying Shedeur is going to be great. I have no idea if Shedeur is going to be great. But I do know that if you hit on Shedeur, a 5th-round pick, and now you have 2 ones next year, and you have the rest of this young core, you don't have to take a quarterback. You don't have to tank for Arch or Lenoris Sellers or Dante Moore or Julian Sane or any of these guys that are going to be in the draft next year. You've got your guy. Go out and find another weapon. Go out and find someone. By the way, they also have, if you don't remember, they've got Schlesinger. Carson Schlesinger was last year's Defensive Rookie of the Year. So the Browns literally have the last 2 Defensive Rookies of the Year on that side of the ball. Like they're putting things together in Cleveland. And I know we all joke about Cleveland because they've been the worst NFL team or the worst sports franchise in the country. But Barry might be doing some things, man. They got some talent over there. I kind of like the Browns. I don't think they're going to win more than 5 games this year, but the long-term plan seems to be in place. Brad has been hanging on forever in Cleveland. Brad, we appreciate you, man. The floor is yours.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's great to be on national radio with you guys. Of course, we love Myles Garrett here. He's like our LeBron James, who we also lost to Los Angeles. There's a lot of weird similarities here. You were talking about the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, Jimmy Haslam.
Jimmy Haslam
happens to be the owner of the Cleveland Browns. So you're really barking up the right tree there. This guy might in the same couple of months trade Myles Garrett and Giannis. Kumpo.
Wow. I never that's crazy to think that you could be potentially trading 2 of the greatest players in the history of 2 American sports franchises in the same month.
Yeah, and probably trading them from Midwestern teams, probably the glamorous markets like elsewhere, like maybe Giannis goes to Miami. Who knows, right? Or whatever. But my thought is, I said here on local Cleveland radio when this happened, I was shocked because I've been to a lot of Browns games. Obviously, I was always hoping for the best, but go back to September 26, 2021. I was at the game. The Browns played the Bears. We killed the Bears. It was Justin Fields early in his rookie year. Myles Garrett sacked Justin Fields 4.5 times. The crowd, for the first time ever, was chanting Myles Garrett's name, like nonstop. The Browns won 26-6. The Browns on that field had Baker Mayfield, like Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., Nick Chubb, we call him J.O.K. here, the linebacker. We had David Njoku, Denzel Ward. The only guy left, Myles Garrett, of course, the only guy left is Denzel Ward. Out of all that talent, one guy's left from basically 4 seasons ago.
That's some bad drafts is what that is.
Well, they haven't. The thing is, they haven't. It's bad coaching. It's bad everything. It's bad juju. Just Baker Mayfield didn't work out. This guy didn't work out, and now, of course, the horrible trade for Deshaun Watson. That's people here locally are saying the Deshaun Watson trade forced Cleveland to trade Myles Garrett because the Deshaun Watson trade was such a fiasco, and I kind of agree with that.
That's actually not bad. Like, it's sort of the butterfly effect, the sliding door effect that, like, maybe you've seen the meme of the little tiny domino and the big giant stone and one thing leads to another. But you're probably right. I mean, it's the worst trade in the history of the National Football League.
Yeah, Cleveland's a small market, but we're, as a sports market, but we're always in the middle of everything. The Cavs season just flamed out a week ago against the Knicks, and now the Knicks, that kind of fueled the Knicks to probably take the NBA championship. If the Cavs had put up a better fight, remember the Cavs were up on the Knicks by 22 points in game 1.
Yep. Yeah.
And and after we lost that lead, Brunson went crazy, and the Knicks have been on a high ever since.
And you got the Guardians, who have the second best record in the American League right now with 36 wins.
Yeah, and their payroll is about $80 million. Everybody here in Cleveland, they've got it's like the David again. We played the Yankees earlier this week. We should have swept the Yankees. We lost. We beat them 2 out of 3 in Yankee Stadium. Just Cleveland is always in the headlines for a small market. That's why I love it here. I live 12 miles from downtown Cleveland. Obviously, I attend many Cavs, Guardians, and Browns games.
Yeah. Dude, that's a great call, man. I love the passion from cities, and thank you for the phone call. We appreciate you hanging on there, Brad. I love the passion when you talk to sports fans of teams in cities that are long-suffering. And I know the Cavs had their title with LeBron, but Cleveland Browns fans, Guardians fans, it's a long-suffering sports town outside of that one that LeBron brought. Like you look at Detroit, you look at Cleveland, all these cities, usually in the Midwest, but you got a lot of these cities that are starving. But think about Minneapolis. If you have any friends in Minneapolis, it's been kind of rough for Minneapolis sports fan because you traded away Karl Anthony Towns. You see what he's doing right now, right? Like you're watching that happen. You just got done watching Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl. You don't have a Super Bowl as a Timberwolves fan. You don't, or as a Viking fan. You don't have an NBA championship as a Timberwolves fan. They're about to trade away Byron Buxton. The Twins are going to be miserable for a while. The Wild had a shot. They were a hot team coming into the Stanley Cup playoffs. People thought that. No. Long-suffering sports town, the Twin Cities in Minnesota. I think they're the longest of the 4. They are. I know that of the cities that have the big 4, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and the NFL, they have the fewest championships. Minneapolis. Long-suffering Minneapolis. We'll get some more calls coming up here. Let's go to Tim. Tim, thanks for calling, man. You're on Westwood One Sports. Tim, hello. Hi, Tim.
Yeah, it's Jim from New Hampshire.
What's up, Jim? What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, well, believe it or not, I am a lifelong Cleveland Browns fan.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, well, you know what? You got to stick with it. Thick and thin.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
I mean, I was going to games and Bernie Kosar was quarterback.
Did you have what was your reaction when the news came down that Myles Garrett was going to Los Angeles?
After I heard everything, I think it was a good thing for him, and I think it was a good thing for Cleveland. You know, Myles Garrett's a class act. You know, he's going out to California. His girl lives in Torrance, so you know, good for him. And wherever he goes, he's going to be a good guy. You know,
I think a lot of people in Cleveland will always root for Myles Garrett. It just doesn't seem like it do. Other than when he almost killed Mason Rudolph by swinging his helmet, I don't think there's been a black mark on Myles Garrett's entire career. I don't think. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't pay that much attention to it, but I haven't heard. You don't hear about Myles Garrett with like hookers and blow or punching anybody. That doesn't happen with Garrett.
No, he's a class act. You know, and last week I just ordered a Garrett sweatshirt.
Oh, now it's a throwback.
Yeah. Hey, no, I think they both made out well. I think Cleveland made out good, and I agree with you 100% that, you know, I give all the snaps to Sanders.
Yeah, I 1,000%.
Because sorry, he's a dead end street, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you're right. Jim, dude, great phone call, man. Thank you. Don't be a stranger. That opens up a line for you.
I will not, man. I call all the time. I listen to you guys all the time. Thank you very much.
Dude, you rock, Jim. Lifelong Browns fan in New Hampshire getting in. That opens up a line for you, 310-840-4910. You know, the question on everybody's mind, I'm sure, in Cleveland is who's going to win this, air quote, quarterback battle. Texter from Columbus, Ohio, C-Bus. The benefit of Deshaun Watson starting week 1 is letting him absorb the hits while the new offensive line gets going. Might as well get something for our money. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. I just don't agree with it. Because, yeah, the new offensive line is going to take time to figure some things out. Fano is going to have to, learn the NFL real quick. But there's no long-term, there's no short-term, but there's no long-term benefit to letting Deshaun Watson start. There's just not. If I got to figure out what Shedeur is going to do. I got to figure out how Shedeur is going to handle pressure. I got to figure out how Shedeur is going to handle getting his, brains beat in. I got to figure that out. And if he is able to rise to the occasion, and let's say the Browns are 3-3 after 6 weeks, that's incredible. If the Browns are anywhere near 500 midway through October, with Shedeur as the quarterback, I think you might have your answer. I'm not saying Shedeur is the answer right now, but I got to learn what Shedeur is. I know what Deshaun Watson is. Besides being a scumbag, he's a shell of what he used to be, and he's had major injuries the last 2 years. But I don't know what Shedeur Sanders is yet, and there's only one way in the National Football League to find out. You got to play. You either sit for a couple of years and you learn, or you play. And they don't have anyone in Cleveland to have Shedeur sit behind and learn. There's no Aaron Rodgers for Jordan Love to sit behind. There's no Alex Smith for Patrick Mahomes to sit behind. There's no Kirk Cousins for Fernando Mendoza to sit behind, or Matt Stafford for Ty Simpson to sit behind. They don't have that. They're not blessed with that. They got to know, is it Shedeur? Is it Dylan Gabriel? I like the kid they took out of Arkansas a lot. He's my draft crush. Other side of the coin, though, we're going to hear from the man in the trade. We're going to hear from Myles Garrett. We're going to hear from Les Snead. We're going to hear from Sean McVay. We'll get the Rams side of this big trade. And if you're listening to us on 97.1 in L.A., the newest affiliate of Westwood One Sports, I want to know how you're feeling today. Do you think your team gave up too much? Are you all about the all-in? 310-840-4910. If you're in Los Angeles or you're a Rams fan, somewhere else in this country, 310-840-4910. We hit the Rams house next on Westwood One Sports.
The cover star of Madden NFL 27 has been released, and it's Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams. Yo, fans in the Windy City, is this a good thing? The third-year quarterback is on Madden Curse Watch. Westwood One Sports.
Yo, it's Jay Uso from WWE, and I'm Jimmy Uso. Chumba Casino and WWE are hyped for the biggest event of the summer, SummerSlam. I know, I can't wait. There's nothing better to do while we're waiting than playing Chumba Casino. Sign up today, and you could win a VIP experience with Chumba Casino and WWE for SummerSlam. So what are you waiting for? Play Chumba Casino and enter for your chance to win. Let's Chumba. Yeah.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Now more people than ever can bring in their bill for a better deal at Verizon. Got AT&T or T-Mobile? We got you. Xfinity or Spectrum? You too. So tell your friends, your family, your quirky neighbor Jeff. Grab your megaphone and yell it from the rooftop. Get a better deal at Verizon. Because chances are anyone in shouting distance is included. Bring in your AT&T, T-Mobile, Xfinity, or Spectrum bill, and we'll give you a better deal on the best network. Come by Verizon today. Best network based on root metrics, best overall mobile network performance, U.S. second half 2025. All rights reserved. Must provide recent consumer mobile bill and the name of the person redeeming the deal. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Now that Wendy's has these new biggie deals, everyone in the family can get what they're craving, from nugs to JBCs. The parental units can get an $8 biggie bundle, the eldest who think they're so grown can get a $6 biggie bag, and the little one who can do no wrong can get a $4 biggie bites. You know, assuming they have a credit card. No, I'm kidding. We take cash too. 4, 6, and $8 biggie deals for the whole family. Only at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
I wake up.
Dinner time. It's more than just a meal. It's when work comes to a halt, where macaroni masterpieces are made and little moments turn into lasting memories. With the Blue Cash Preferred Card, you can get 6% cash back at U.S. supermarkets. So you can bring home the flavors that bring everyone together. We did say everyone. Make the special moments even more rewarding. Learn more at americanexpress.com/explore-BCP. Terms and cashback cap apply with Blue Cash Preferred.
Hi, question about a medication? With Express Scripts Pharmacy Home Delivery, help is always here. You get 24/7 access to specially trained pharmacists ready to talk through side effects or anything that doesn't feel clear. Plus, your maintenance medications are delivered right to your door. Download the Express Scripts mobile app to get started.
The all-new Amazon Ember Art line with Fire TV. With Alexa Plus, 10 custom frames and over 2,000 free works of museum-quality art. The Amazon Ember Art line with Fire TV. It's not just a smart TV, it's an art TV. Separate subscriptions may be required. Viewing experience is subjective and may vary with content.
In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Call 1-800-598-6439. That's 1-800-598-6439. Or visit plexiderm.com/trial. Paid for by Sheer Science.
The IRS, the world's most aggressive collection agency. They can seize your property, bank account, and garnish your wages. They cause sleepless nights for millions of Americans. Don't be one of them. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, get protected today. Call 800-242-3186. Coast One Tax Group, protecting your bank, home, and your sleep since 2008. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and an A+ on the Better Business Bureau. Call Coast One Tax Group, 800-242-3186. Stanley from New York owed $93,000. The IRS placed a levy on his bank account. Coast One released the levy and settled with the IRS for $2,000. Mark in Michigan owed $225,000. After Coast One stepped in, Mark walked away paying less than $1,500. Call Coast One now. A 10-minute call can save you up to 93% on your back taxes. Get your fresh start today. That's 800-242-3186.
Sponsored by Coast One Financial Group.
WEEI, Boston Sports Original. WEEI.
AUDACY. Type that into your app search, then download.
It's Westwood One Sports Night with Mike Wickett.
All right, so I'm watching the Carolina-Vegas hockey game on TV right now. It might have a little money on it, whatever. I thought Vegas scored. Stu, did they take that goal off the board?
It's funny. I look down and I look back up, and it's 0-0 again.
It was 1-0.
Like, did my TV go backwards, or did they take away a goal?
Vegas may have been offsides on that goal. It was a giveaway by Carolina, and then one of the Vegas dudes was screaming down the center of the ice. It may have been offside. So if you have Carolina in a parlay or straight up, like I do, then you're okay right now. 0-0. A lot of hockey left in the second period. 18 minutes to go, still scoreless. Series is 1-1 in the Stanley Cup final. All right, I'm Mike Wickett. You can always jump in, 310-840-4910. You can always send us a text to that number as well. We're talking about Myles Garrett. We just did the Cleveland side. We're looking for Rams fans to jump in. What do you think of your new guy? You've got the reigning defensive player of the year on your defensive line, which was already really good last year. Now you lose Jared Verse, who I've gone over. He's a fantastic player, and he's going the right way. He's 24 years old on the right way. You get Myles Garrett at 30 years old, coming off his 90-sack season or whatever he had. There were people wondering, could Myles Garrett get 30 sacks this year? That's insane to think about. Absolutely insane to think about. I mean, granted, I didn't think he could get 22 and a half, but he did. But he did. So it absolutely could happen. But the Rams, who were already the favorite, make the blockbuster trade. I still cannot believe that Les Snead pulled it off. The F them picks mentality, the F them picks strategy continues to roll on. Here's the general manager of the Los Angeles Rams about when he knew there was a chance to even get Myles Garrett.
I think when we first reached out, when they adjusted his contract, it was a no. It's been a no. I could see why it's a no. I think I've said it a lot. Myles is going to be on the Cleveland Browns Mount Rushmore when this is all said and done. And I think the Browns felt like he'd be better in a Browns uniform than a Rams uniform. So was persistent in reaching out, knocking on Andrew's door, or at least calling him, blowing him up, texting him, things like that. And, somewhere along the way, between that first March and into May, and a little bit right before the draft, because we started talking about draft compensation and things like that, I would say that, wow, this could be a possibility. This opportunity actually could be a possibility. And again, we just, kept knocking, kept working to try to seize that opportunity.
My mother taught me something a long time ago. Okay, now it is officially, by the way, 1-0 Vegas. They just scored again. They officially scored this goal, 1-0 Vegas. My mother told me something a long time ago. You don't ask, you don't get. Okay? You don't ask, you don't get. And if there's something that you want, you keep at it. You figure it out. You know how it is if you're working your fantasy football trade. You make an offer. They don't like it. If they counter or don't counter, maybe you offer up a little more and a little more. And when the contract became more movable, that's when the Rams were able to pounce. And that's why Les Snead is just let's put it honest. He's West Coast Howie Roseman. He knows how to build a winner through all different avenues: trades, draft, free agent, mega deals like this one right here. It's unbelievable that Myles Garrett is an LA Ram. More from Les Snead about being able to negotiate. Again, you offer up a little more, you keep on calling. Oh, you moved his contract. You made his contract more tradable. Oh, now what is it? Oh, okay.
And Andrew and I have a good relationship. I love talking football with him. And again, Myles is going to be on the Cleveland Browns Mount Rushmore when it's all said and done. He's just one of those type players. It's, whoever their Mount Rushmore is, he's on it. And they, from the beginning, they were, what? It's better for Myles Garrett to be a Cleveland Brown than a Los Angeles Ram. But probably in an element, hey, you know what? You said no, but let's keep knocking. 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 And a lot of it has to do with the relationship with Andrew and I, because we can talk about Myles and a trade, but we can also talk about other things, the big picture parts of football and our jobs. So keep knocking on the door is the moral of the story.
Yeah, I'm in my dynasty draft right now, and it takes weeks for the dynasty draft. And I'm trying to acquire a pick right now. We're through, I think, 11 or we're through 12 picks. I'm trying to get the 13th pick in the draft right now. And I lowballed and got rejected, but I'm going to go back at it. Just like I'm basically the Les Snead of Westwood One Sports because I'm trying to acquire a pick in a dynasty draft, and Les Snead acquired Myles Garrett, as he has been trying to do since 2022.
You know, it's interesting. I saw the article or someone mentioned, we tried in 22. And I'm like, wow, did we? But here's what I do. I do remember that because that was post Super Bowl. Von Miller was a free agent and left for Buffalo. Right. So I do know that we were working to try to replace Von, and that was a call that we did make. But, you know, I had to go back to my journal to see if that was correct or not.
I love that. He doesn't even remember trying to acquire Myles Garrett 4 years ago. It's fantastic. Garrett met the media, and as we were already talking with Browns fans, you know your team does not have a winning culture. You know that the Browns, your team, your favorite team, over there, the mistake by the lake, all the years, all the quarterbacks, the famous pictures of the guy with the Browns jersey, and every quarterback listed that they've drafted from Spurgeon Wynn or acquired to Deshaun Watson, all these guys that have played quarterback for the Browns. It just has not worked. Nothing has worked. So it literally, Myles Garrett goes from the outhouse to the penthouse.
Knowing that there's a winning culture and some great teammates and great coaches here, I was definitely looking forward to the opportunity, and God willing to happen.
And I think Browns fans are going to support Myles Garrett, are going to root for Myles Garrett, except for when the Rams are playing Cleveland, and maybe even a little bit then too. And maybe even then too. And as the caller pointed out a while back, it is incredible that Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, who, if you did not know, is a partial owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, in the same month could trade arguably the greatest Cleveland Brown of all time, or second. No disrespect to the great Jim Brown. Maybe he's the second greatest Brown of all time. And the greatest Milwaukee Buck of all time. In the same month. What a month for Jimmy Haslam. How does that guy sleep? Garrett did go on to say that this was an opportunity he absolutely could not say no to.
Since the very beginning, it's always been about winning. And it just breaks down to, the timing of everything. What does it realistically look like to be a winner now? And to have a opportunity to do that, immediately, that was an opportunity that was just, too difficult to pass up. And, I always have, love in my heart for Cleveland City,